Department. Tianjin is under the jurisdiction of our Central Military Region. Therefore, it rightfully belongs to our Central Military Region and our Imperial Capital Garrison Division. Commander Peng, you are the Supreme Commander. You must adjudicate this matter for us. As Commander Peng listened to their quarrel, he felt a headache coming on. He slammed the table in frustration, sternly reprimanding Long Hantian. This is absurd. What kind of behavior is this? After scolding Long Hantian, he turned to Lu Taijun, sighing helplessly as he began to share his own grievances. Taijun, it is not that I do not wish to assist you. The Southern Military Region has already established a deep collaboration with Comrade Yi Bai. The ownership of the electromagnetic cannon has been determined and cannot be altered. He patted Lu Tiejuan's shoulder, offering comfort. Let us do this. This time, consider it that our Southern Military Region has taken a slight advantage from you. When the time comes, we will certainly compensate you elsewhere. Come, let us go to my command post and discuss this matter in detail. With that, he led the still disgruntled Lu Taijun away from the shooting range. Watching their departing figures, Long Hantian turned to Yi Bai with a triumphant smile. You need not worry. I shall handle these matters. You, just focus on your Raptor vehicle. Yi Bai observed the ongoing battle for personnel with a mix of amusement and exasperation. He felt like a prized piece of meat, with everyone eager to take a bite. Opening the system panel, he glanced at his shock value, which had successfully surpassed the 50 million mark. The conditions for retrofitting the Raptor vehicle were now entirely ripe. Upon returning to the military district's laboratory, Yi Bai immediately immersed himself in the system. He summoned the quantum computer, analyzing the 30-plus retrofitting schemes for the Raptor vehicle. Firepower, mobility, and self-preservation. Yi Bai pondered deeply over the requirements proposed by Long Hantian. To possess formidable firepower alongside unparalleled survivability is inherently a paradox. Within the constraints of budget and vehicle specifications, achieving both is nearly impossible. With this realization, a glint of madness flickered in Yi Bai's eyes. Why not pursue one aspect to the extreme? Extreme defense? No, that would not align with the mobility required for rapid engagements. Thus, only extreme firepower remains. With unparalleled, overwhelming, and tempestuous firepower, let us substitute defense. Before the enemy can react, we shall obliterate them from the map. This, indeed, would be the ultimate defense. A bold and audacious idea began to take shape in his mind. He completely abandoned the previously balanced schemes and commenced reconstructing a brand new retrofitting model within the system. Deploying incendiary bombs from above, utilizing extreme mobility to penetrate enemy lines, then like a seed sower, unleashing tons of incendiary bombs upon the foe's heads. Yet, although this scheme promised a stunning visual effect, its own survivability remained too weak. Once targeted, destruction would be inevitable. No, it is still not violent enough, not direct enough. Yi Bai shook his head. What he required was a purer, more indisputable, and devastating force capable of clearing the field in an instant. Machine guns, artillery, anti-aircraft. He resolved to perfectly integrate these three functionalities, abandoning all excess armor and defenses, channeling all resources into speed and firepower. A brand new, seemingly flawless scheme was birthed in his mind. Ding! A new D-class retrofitting scheme has been generated. 1. Core Firepower System, Trinity Annihilator Turret. Main weapon, 6-barrel 30mm high-performance molecular explosive armor-piercing cannon X2, utilizing electromagnetic drive, with a theoretical firing rate of 12,000 rounds per minute. Capable of instantly shredding any main battle tank's armor. Estimated shock value consumption, 18 million. Secondary weapon, miniature cloud explosive launch nests X8, housing 128 small cloud explosive bombs. Specifically designed to clear infantry, lightly armored targets, and personnel behind cover. In an instant of detonation, not a blade of grass shall remain. Estimated shock value consumption, 12 million. Special weapon, Hive-style miniature missile launching system, containing 32 needle-like miniature armor-piercing missiles. Equipped with infrared radar composite guidance capability. Specifically for destroying enemy tanks, bunkers, and low-flying targets. Estimated shock value consumption, 8 million. 2. Mobility and control system, F1 grade racing powertrain. Core engine, integrating a rotary engine, paired with a high-strength carbon fiber chassis, compressing the overall vehicle weight to the utmost. Suspension system, active electromagnetic suspension, capable of real-time adjustments based on terrain, granting it exceptional off-road capabilities while also enabling it to perform extreme drifting and cornering maneuvers on flat surfaces like an F1 car. Estimated shock value consumption, 5 million. Total estimated shock value consumption, 43 million. Gazing upon this nearly perfect retrofitting scheme, Yi Bai felt his blood begin to boil. This is it. Yi Bai unequivocally confirmed the plan. Let us proceed. Chapter 200. Surprisingly, he truly possessed such capabilities. Once the final modification plan was established, Yi Bai promptly drafted all the design blueprints and technical specifications. He then distributed these documents to the highest-ranking military factory under the Southern Military Region, instructing them to commence production immediately. To ensure that this war beast would be birthed to perfection, Yi Bai personally visited the military factory, fully engaging in and guiding the entire manufacturing process. Initially, the seasoned craftsmen within the factory, who harbored a sense of superiority, were deeply skeptical of this young chief designer who had yet to fully mature. In their eyes, no matter how exquisite the blueprints appeared, they were merely theoretical. The true national treasures were forged by their skilled hands, one hammer stroke at a time. However, they were soon utterly captivated by Yi Bai's formidable expertise. From material selection and precision processing of components to intricate circuit wiring, he demonstrated an unparalleled command. In fact, during some critical on-site fabrication phases, Yi Bai rolled up his sleeves and personally engaged in the work. His adeptness surpassed even the most experienced craftsmen in the factory, leaving all onlookers in awe and admiration. Gradually, no one in the entire military factory dared to underestimate this young man any longer, and they began to refer to him respectfully as Engineer Yi. Nevertheless, a challenge arose during the manufacturing process. Many components designed by Yi Bai incorporated cutting-edge technology far beyond the current era. To fabricate these parts, it was essential to utilize the factory's most advanced precision equipment, typically reserved for aerospace and advanced weaponry production. These machines were already burdened with heavy production schedules, leaving little room for additional projects. To gain access, they would have to queue, waiting for other projects to complete a phase before any time could be freed. Fortunately, Long Hantian personally intervened to coordinate efforts, coupled with the fact that Yi Bai's project held the utmost priority. Thus, the wait was not excessively long. Approximately 1 week would suffice. During this interim, Yi Bai planned a visit to the imperial capital. With ample funds at his disposal, it was time to secure that plot of land. Upon returning to the Yunshao Auto Repair Factory, Yi Bai intended to take Sun Ling with him to the imperial capital to address the pertinent matters. However, as he approached the factory entrance, he noticed a poised young girl with a ponytail standing there, her demeanor slightly anxious, yet her bright eyes fixed on the factory's door, seemingly awaiting someone. Yi Bai approached her, curiosity piqued. "Hello, may I ask whom you are looking for?" The girl, momentarily taken aback upon seeing Yi Bai, quickly exhibited a flicker of excitement in her eyes. I'm here to find you are? Zhang Hongying. Zhang Hongying. Yi Bai was momentarily stunned. The first time he had encountered Hongying at school, she had been frail from prolonged malnutrition, her complexion sallow, and her gaze dim. Yet now, after just over a month apart, she seemed transformed. Although still somewhat slender, her cheeks bore a healthy flush. The head that had often hung low was now slightly raised, and her once dull eyes sparkled with vitality. Her clear phoenix eyes, delicate nose, and cherry blossom-like lips combined to form a visage that radiated a blend of purity and subtle determination. It was no wonder Yi Bai momentarily failed to recognize her. "Brother." Zhang Hongying looked at Yi Bai, seemingly summoning all her courage. Yet, as she spoke, she nervously clutched her clothing. "Grandpa, he asked me to follow you from now on." Upon hearing her mention of her grandfather, Yi Bai felt a pang of concern and immediately inquired, "What about your grandfather? How is he doing now? Is the medical fee from last time still sufficient?" At the mention of her grandfather, the courage Zhang Hongying had mustered crumbled, her eyes suddenly brimming with tears. She bit her lip and lowered her head, fighting to keep her tears at bay. "Grandpa passed away last week." Those words seemed to drain all strength from her. Yi Bai's heart felt as though it had been seized by an invisible hand. Observing the young girl, now bereft of her only family, filled him with an indescribable sense of compassion and sorrow. He gently reached out, tenderly ruffling her somewhat dry hair. "Do not fear. From this day forth, I shall be your family." Yi Bai gazed into her tear-filled eyes and continued with a soft voice. "One must always look forward. Let the past remain in the past. Come, gather your things, and let us go to the imperial capital to clear our minds. It would also be a good opportunity for you to familiarize yourself with Qingbei University, as you will be living in the imperial capital in the future." Zhang Hongying raised her head, her teary eyes meeting Yi Bai's sincere gaze, and nodded emphatically. Seeing this, Yi Bai took out a thick wad of cash from his wallet and handed it to her without counting. "Here, approximately 10,000 yuan. Take this and buy yourself a few well-fitting outfits, along with some luggage and daily necessities. A girl must treat herself well." 10,000. Zhang Hongying stared at the thick stack of red bills, utterly shocked. It was the first time in her life she had ever touched so much money. She nearly withdrew her hand. No, I can't accept this. Sun Ling, observing her startled expression, seemed to see her former self reflected in Zhang Hongying. She stepped forward, gently grasping Zhang Hongying's cold hand. Do not be afraid, take it. Brother Bai is a good person. This is his heartfelt gesture. Brother Bai, how about I take her shopping? I understand what a girl needs. Yi Bai nodded and added. Also, Sun Ling, you should treat yourself to a few new outfits. From head to toe, consider it a work benefit from the company. Sun Ling beamed at this, her beautiful eyes turning crescent-shaped with joy. Taking the still bewildered Zhang Hongying by the hand, she softly said, Come along, Sister Hongying. Let us go transform you. Their outing continued until the city lights began to twinkle against the night sky. When the two girls reappeared before Yi Bai, even he, accustomed to grand spectacles, was momentarily taken aback. Chapter 201. Sun Ling and the blossoming Zhang Hongying. Before him stood two girls, resembling models stepped out of a fashion magazine. Their beauty captivating and difficult to look away from. Sun Ling had donned a chic white short-sleeve shirt paired with a plaid skirt, perfectly showcasing her vivacious charm. Her long, fair legs were clad in white over-the-knee socks, complemented by a pair of stylish shoes, radiating a youthful, vibrant allure. Beside her, Zhang Hongying wore a light blue dress that reached her knees, tailored impeccably to accentuate her slender and graceful silhouette. Her previously dry hair had been meticulously styled, cascading smoothly over her shoulders. The entire person resembled a lily bud, adorned with morning dew, tranquil, gentle, and imbued with a touch of endearing shyness. The two individuals, though stylistically disparate, possessed an equally captivating beauty, one vibrant and charming, the other poised and delicate. They were simply stunning. Brother Bai, do you find it beautiful? Sun Ling inquired. Observing Yi Bai's somewhat dazed expression, her cheeks flushed with a rosy hue, a mixture of shyness and anticipation. Yi Bai snapped back to reality, genuinely exclaiming, It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Why didn't you dress like this before? Upon hearing this, Sun Ling's gaze dimmed slightly as she lowered her head, murmuring sadly, I didn't have the money. Yi Bai's heart softened at her words. All right, from now on, you shall dress like this. Money is no object for me. Moreover, seeing you both looking splendid inspires me and enhances my creativity at work. It's for my better performance, after all. Sun Ling blushed even deeper at his illogical reasoning. Isn't that a bit inappropriate? What could possibly be inappropriate? Yi Bai replied, his eyes glinting with admiration. As the ancient said, a woman adorns herself for the one she cherishes. Do you not feel joy in knowing that I appreciate your beauty? Sun Ling's heart skipped a beat. Meeting Yi Bai's fervent gaze, she felt her cheeks ablaze. Unable to hold his gaze any longer, she merely murmured an inaudible mm. Yi Bai then turned his attention to Zhang Hongying, who had been timidly hiding behind Sun Ling since their arrival. What is wrong with her? Why is she hiding? Yi Bai questioned Sun Ling with curiosity. Sun Ling gently tugged at Zhang Hongying, whispering, she is shy. She mentioned that she has never worn such a short skirt and feels a bit chilly on her legs, not accustomed to it. Yi Bai chuckled at her discomfort. It's all right. If you're not comfortable, don't wear it. Go change into a pair of jeans. Comfort is paramount. Zhang Hongying looked relieved and quickly nodded, scurrying back to change into a well-fitted pair of jeans. However, when she re-emerged, Yi Bai felt as though his breath had momentarily ceased. The snug jeans accentuated her long, slender legs, showcasing her stunning leg lines and perfectly rounded curves without reservation. The proportions of her figure are simply otherworldly, Yi Bai thought, feeling his long-dormant, eagle-eyed attention nearly spring to life. From every angle, she was breathtaking. Gazing at these two exceptional young women, one exuberant and the other gentle, a surge of boldness arose within Yi Bai. With such beauty by my side, how splendid it is to roam the capital. After arranging their itinerary, Yi Bai suddenly remembered something. Lin Anren still owed him a luxury car. Given the long journey to the capital, he figured a comfortable ride would be ideal. With that thought, he dialed Lin Anren's number. Hello, Aunt Lin. The voice on the other end brimmed with delight upon receiving Yi Bai's call. Oh, it's you. Xiao Bai. I've been waiting for your call. Have you decided which car you'd like? Thank you, Aunt Lin. I have some free time now, and am heading over to take a look. You're most welcome. Just come to my house. I've informed the butler. You can choose any car from the garage and just drive it away. After hanging up, Yi Bai, accompanied by Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, made their way to Lin Anren's luxurious villa district. As the butler respectfully opened the grand underground garage door, akin to a palace, even Yi Bai, who had witnessed numerous grand spectacles, was awestruck by the sight before him. The garage was brightly lit, astonishingly spacious, resembling a top-tier automobile museum. Rolls-Royces, Bentleys, Ferraris, Lamborghinis, Bugatti Veyrons. An array of top-tier luxury cars was meticulously arranged. Each vehicle gleamed as if brand new, radiating a mesmerizing luster under the lights. Yi Bai felt as though his eyes might be overwhelmed. He turned to Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, saying, "You two should also take a look. Whichever car you fancy, we shall take." The two girls were utterly bewildered by the opulence surrounding them, unsure of what to choose in the face of such grandeur. Yi Bai chuckled, wandering through the garage at his own leisure. Eventually, his gaze landed on an extraordinarily futuristic supercar, entirely silver in hue. Approaching it, he recognized the emblem on the front. Koenigsegg. On the side of the car was a unique plaque, Gesso. It was none other than the Koenigsegg Gesso. Yi Bai's breath quickened. He was well aware of this car, renowned as the King of Ghosts, one of the most elite supercars in the world. To his astonishment, he knew that only 2 of these exclusive vehicles had been produced globally to signify its unparalleled status. One was cherished by the world's wealthiest man, the tech mogul Elon Musk, who kept it hidden in his private garage, never to be displayed publicly. The other, astonishingly, was right here. Staring at this masterpiece of automotive engineering, Yi Bai felt an indescribable shock wash over him. He hadn't anticipated that Lin Anren's collection would reach such staggering heights. A globally limited edition car, with only 2 in existence, and she possessed one. "Lin Ant, can I choose this car?" Yi Bai pointed to the Koenigsegg Gesso, his voice tinged with uncertainty. "Is this one also available?" Lin Anren's laughter rang out on the other end of the line. "Of course. Didn't I say? You can choose any car from the garage. Price is irrelevant. What matters is that you like it." Sun Ling, meanwhile, had discreetly searched for information on the car using her phone. Upon seeing the staggering price, she gasped, whispering to Yi Bai, "Boss, this car's reference price online is over 46 million. Over 46 million. Yi Bai echoed, equally astonished. While he had long known of Lin Anren's substantial wealth, he had not realized she had reached such dizzying heights. To casually offer a nearly $500 million, globally limited edition masterpiece without batting an eyelid. This was the epitome of a true aristocrat. Yi Bai was deeply moved, sincerely expressing over the phone, "Aunt Lin, this gift is far too extravagant. I truly appreciate it." "Oh, there's no need for formality," Lin Anren replied with a smile. "If you really want to thank me, just do me a favor and take my daughter along. Take Qingyue." Yi Bai was taken aback. "Yes." Lin Anren's tone carried a hint of exasperation. "Ever since she rode in the modified car you did, she's been obsessed, dreaming about having you modify a car for her. However, she's overwhelmed by choices and doesn't know what to pick. So, I thought it would be good for her to learn from you while also selecting a car she likes." Yi Bai glanced at the Koenigsegg and hesitantly remarked, "But Aunt Lin, this car can only accommodate 2 people." "No worries," Lin Anren replied nonchalantly. "Let Qingyue drive her Maserati and follow behind you." With the conversation reaching this point, Yi Bai found it difficult to refuse and ultimately agreed. Soon, he encountered Su Qingyue again in the villa's living room. Today, she donned a seemingly simple yet exquisitely tailored white dress, its fabric and cut reflecting remarkable craftsmanship. With minimal embellishments, the attire accentuated her mature and graceful figure, exuding a unique charm that was both youthful and intellectually elegant. Upon seeing Yi Bai, she greeted him warmly. "Yi Bai, it's been a while. My mother mentioned that I would be relying on you quite a bit this time." However, despite her cordial demeanor, Yi Bai could still sense a hint of detachment and formality in her manner. He understood that her interest lay not in him as a person, but in the extraordinary, technologically advanced cars he had modified. Nevertheless, Yi Bai was indifferent to this. He had no intention of pursuing anything further with this privileged woman. They both had their own needs, which was perfectly fine. Yi Bai personally drove the nearly 500 million yuan Koenigsegg Gesso, with the somewhat reserved and anxious Zhang Hongying seated in the passenger seat. Meanwhile, Su Qingyue leisurely followed behind in her white Maserati Quattroporte, carrying Sun Ling. However, Yi Bai chose not to drive directly from Huadu to the capital, not out of fatigue, but rather out of concern for the vehicle. After all, a top-tier supercar like the Koenigsegg Gesso was incredibly precious, with each component worth more than gold. The wear on the specially customized tires would be measured in the hundreds of thousands, even during a few laps on a smooth racetrack. The cost of fuel, tolls, and accommodation were minor compared to the expenses for tire wear and vehicle maintenance, which could easily reach millions. In contrast, hiring a top-tier logistics company to transport both cars in a climate-controlled, fully enclosed container from Huadu to the capital would only cost about 200,000 to 300,000 yuan. The choice was clear. Thus, The two luxury cars were carefully loaded onto a specialized transport truck, while Yi Bai and his companions comfortably took a first-class flight directly to the capital. The plane landed smoothly at the capital's international airport. Upon exiting the airport, a prearranged vehicle awaited to transport them to a five-star hotel located in the city's most bustling area. When they retrieved the two pristine luxury cars from the shipping company, Yi Bai immediately contacted Director Huang Bo of the Tianjing Fire Department to inquire about the land. On the other end, Director Huang was quite enthusiastic, explaining that he was actively coordinating with the capital's development and reform commission regarding site visits and bidding procedures. However, due to the involvement of military and local coordination, the process would be somewhat complex. Fortunately, Yi Bai was not in a hurry and planned to enjoy a couple of days in the capital first. In the ensuing days, he took on the role of a gallant escort, showing Sun Ling, Zhang Hongying, and Su Qingwei, three strikingly beautiful women with distinct styles, around the ancient city rich in history. They witnessed the flag-raising ceremony, visited the Forbidden City, and climbed the Great Wall, akin to a group of special forces on an exhilarating mission. In just a few days, they explored all the capital's renowned landmarks. For Su Qingwei, these experiences were nothing new and felt like a chore. However, for Yi Bai, Sun Ling, and Zhang Hongying, it was their first visit, and they were in awe of the sights. Nonetheless, Su Qingwei had no objections, as spending time with them provided a different kind of experience. Their 2 days of exploration concluded joyfully. On the morning of the third day, before Yi Bai had fully awakened, Director Huang Bo's call came through. The recent excitement had been exhausting. Despite Yi Bai's enhanced physical capabilities due to the system, mental fatigue was unavoidable. Little Yi, everything has been arranged here. Tomorrow at 9 in the morning, the Development and Reform Commission will send someone to take us to the site. Prepare in advance to avoid any last-minute chaos. Chapter 203, Securing Land in the Capital. Meeting the commander of the Central Military District, Yi Bai and his companions arrived punctually at the agreed location, then drove to the land set for sale. However, upon arrival, even Sun Ling, who had mentally prepared herself, furrowed her brow at the sight. The land, situated on the outskirts of the capital, was desolate and uninhabited, lacking even a proper building. One could aptly describe it as a place where not even a bird would defecate. "Boss, this land doesn't seem very promising," Sun Ling whispered to Yi Bai. "It's remote and barren. Aside from its ample size, it has almost no advantages." Indeed, the land was quite substantial, featuring an 800-acre flat area, along with an entire barren mountain included in the deal. If we wish to develop it, leveling this mountain will undoubtedly require a significant investment, Sun Ling added. Hearing her concerns, Director Huang Bo chuckled and explained, "Little son, you're mistaken. In a place like the capital, where every inch is precious, this is the only piece of land available for free development." He pointed out, "Look over there. The expressway connecting the city is about to reach this area. Although it's on the outskirts, it will still enjoy convenient transportation." Yi Bai gazed upon the vast and desolate land with excitement. "No problem. As long as we have land, we can build from the ground up. Today it may be barren, but in the future, this will be the starting point for the rise of the Yi Bai Group." Without hesitation, he signed, paid, and over 1 billion yuan flowed out like water. Soon, the development rights for the land exceeding 1,000 acres officially fell into Yi Bai's hands. With the land secured, the next step was, of course, construction. "Boss, are we going to build a super factory here?" Sun Ling inquired. "Indeed. However, to establish a modern super factory in such a vast area, the investment will likely exceed 3 billion yuan, she worriedly noted. "Our current funds seem insufficient." "No rush," Yi Bai replied confidently. "If funds are lacking, we can seek partners. I'll collaborate directly with the military for construction. I believe this won't be an issue." With that, he promptly dialed Long Hantian's number to share his thoughts. On the other end, Long Hantian, without a moment's hesitation, agreed. For the military, the opportunity to deeply engage in the construction of Yi Bai's high-tech factory was undoubtedly beneficial. However, he did stipulate one condition: "We will handle the construction. I assure you that the finest materials will be provided with the utmost speed. However, there is but one condition. Henceforth, all military equipment produced in your factory must be prioritized for supply to our southern military district." "No problem," Yi Bai readily agreed. After finalizing the construction of the factory, he prepared to depart with the 3 women. Just as they were about to board the vehicle, several military trucks bearing the Central Military District's license plates suddenly sped towards them, halting right in front. A major general, adorned with the insignia of his rank, emerged from one of the vehicles. Approaching Yi Bai with an exceedingly warm smile, he inquired, "Are you Comrade Yi Bai?" "I am," came the reply. "Excellent. Comrade Yi Bai, my surname is Su. Our commander wishes to meet you. Director Huang Bo, upon hearing the mention of the commander, was taken aback. The commander of the Central Military District? That could only be Commander Nye, a figure of immense stature, whose mere presence commanded respect across the entirety of the Dragon Kingdom. Faced with such an invitation from a person of this caliber, Yi Bai understood he had no grounds to refuse. Nodding, he followed Major General Su into the vehicle. The military truck sped along, unimpeded, ultimately arriving at a seemingly ordinary, yet heavily guarded area, with sentries positioned every few steps. Upon seeing the iconic red walls and solemn gates, Yi Bai felt a surge of emotions within. This was Zhonghai, the very heart of power within the Dragon Kingdom. He was fortunate enough to enter such a place. Under Major General Su's guidance, Yi Bai traversed multiple checkpoints, finally arriving at an office that was both ancient and elegant, yet exuded an air of authority. Inside stood a man clad in military attire, adorned with 3 brilliant stars, gazing out the window with his back to them. Though only a silhouette, the powerful aura he emanated was palpable, invoking a deep sense of reverence. Hearing their footsteps, the man slowly turned around. He appeared to be around 50 years of age, with a resolute visage, sharp brows, and piercing eyes that seemed capable of seeing through one's soul. Despite no longer being youthful, he retained an imposing presence that commanded attention. This was none other than Commander Nye of the Central Military District. Commander Nye's gaze fell upon Yi Bai, scrutinizing him intently, and soon a look of approval graced his face. A hero emerges from youth. Comrade Yi Bai indeed. A dragon among men. You flatter me. Commander Nye, Yi Bai responded with humility. May I inquire as to the purpose of your summons? Commander Nye smiled and gestured for Yi Bai to take a seat. He then spoke directly. I have heard of your formidable military research and development capabilities. Not only have you created optical stealth materials, but you have also developed lightweight electromagnetic cannons. Furthermore, you are about to attend Qingbei University in our imperial capital and have recently acquired land within our Central Military District to establish a factory. He scrutinized Yi Bai's expression, his eyes reflecting a significant meaning. It appears your future focus will undoubtedly be in the imperial capital. Therefore, our Central Military District must collaborate with you. Or rather, as long as you develop in the imperial capital, you will inevitably intersect with our Central Military District, correct? Upon hearing this, Yi Bai's brow furrowed slightly. He anticipated that Commander Nye intended to negotiate terms akin to Long Han, potentially applying pressure to secure greater benefits. However, Commander Nye's subsequent words took him entirely by surprise. The reason I have summoned you today is to convey that as long as you are serving our nation, contributing to the defense of our Dragon Kingdom, the Central Military District will unconditionally provide you with all the support and services you require, be it in policy or resources. Yi Bai was taken aback. No conditions. No discussions of profit, merely a desire for patriotism. The breadth of Commander Nye's vision was indeed extraordinary. Faced with such openness and grandeur, Yi Bai's initial apprehensions dissolved instantaneously. Rising, he saluted this esteemed general with respect. Rest assured, Commander, I shall devote myself to contributing to the defense of our great nation. Once I conclude the modifications on the batch of Lynx vehicles for the Southern Military District, I will promptly begin crafting a new piece of equipment tailored for our Central Military District. Good, 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 Commander Nye exclaimed thrice, his smile growing ever more radiant. Rising, he extended his hand, firmly grasping Yi Bai's. On behalf of the Central Military District, I warmly welcome your involvement. May our collaboration be fruitful. The meeting concluded in an atmosphere of utmost cordiality and harmony. As Yi Bai emerged unscathed from the enigmatic red walls, the trio of Sun Ling, Zhang Hongying, and Su Qinghue breathed a sigh of relief. They had never anticipated that Yi Bai possessed such an incredibly profound background within the military, particularly Su Qinghue, whose astonishment was beyond measure. Although her family was immensely wealthy, commanding respect in the business realm, the weight of power in the Dragon Kingdom far surpassed that of money. Her family invested vast sums annually to navigate and cultivate various connections, often resorting to desperate measures to achieve their goals. Yet Yi Bai? He had garnered the favor of the commanders of both the Southern and Central Military Districts, even provoking a face-to-face rivalry for his attention. This influence was beyond her wildest imagination. Observing her astonished expression, Yi Bai merely smiled in silence. With their excursion to the imperial capital concluded, the group returned to Huadu. On the journey back, Yi Bai discussed the vehicle modifications with Su Qinghue. Upon arriving at Yinshao Auto Repair Factory, Yi Bai immediately immersed himself in the system. His first task was to design a perfect factory scheme for the land he had acquired in the imperial capital. He expended 3 million shock points to activate the system's blueprint simulation function. Beep. Blueprint simulation activated, consuming 3 million shock points. Objective: construct an ultra-modern black technology factory scheme. Simulation commencing. Instantaneously, a torrent of architectural models, production line layouts, energy system plans, and security system designs flooded Yi Bai's mind. Eventually, a comprehensive and futuristic plan for a super factory emerged before him, one that would leave any industrial designer in awe. While this scheme could not replicate the complete functionality of the system's laboratory due to current technological and material constraints, it could achieve nearly 30 of the first-stage laboratory level. This was an extraordinarily impressive figure. After confirming the factory plan, Yi Bai glanced at the progress bar on his system panel, which had long occupied his thoughts. Third-stage laboratory unlocking progress. 5. Following the major projects of the electromagnetic cannon and Lynx vehicles, the unlocking progress of the third-stage laboratory had finally advanced a small step. Although the rate of increase was visibly slowing down, however, the more it unfolds, the more it attests that the imminent unlocking of the three-stage laboratory will undoubtedly bring him unprecedented and revolutionary surprises. It is truly something to anticipate. After meticulously organizing the super factory plan, which had been meticulously deduced by the system, Yi Bai promptly sent it to the southern military region. Upon receiving this news, Long Hantian felt as if he had discovered a treasure. He eagerly took this proposal, which had the potential to astonish the entire industrial sector of Longhua, and rushed to contact the relevant departments to implement it. Meanwhile, good news arrived from the military factory. After a week of intense work, the first all-new Lynx all-terrain assault vehicle, personally modified under Yi Bai's guidance, had finally completed all upgrades and assembly. Yi Bai immediately set off for the military factory. However, as soon as he entered the vast hangar designated for testing new equipment, before he could admire his masterpiece, a furious voice erupted behind him like thunder. Yi Bai? Stop right there. Turning around, Yi Bai saw Long Hantian striding towards him, visibly enraged. The dark expression on his face was unmistakably one of accusation. Why did you betray us? Long Hantian demanded without preamble. Why did you secretly engage in ambiguous dealings with the central military region behind our backs? Yi Bai was taken aback by this barrage of accusations, feeling utterly confounded. General Long, what are you talking about? He raised his hands in confusion. When did I become a part of your southern military region? I never enlisted with you. Besides, I am neither from your southern military region nor the central military region. I belong to the Huaxiang military region. My commitment is to the national defense of the entire country. What is wrong with collaborating with the central military region? If the nation requires it, I can cooperate with any region, be it the eastern, western, or northern military regions. However, Long Hantian, consumed by anger, was not in the mood to entertain such reasoning. He reacted as if someone had stolen his white moonlight, completely unreasonable. I don't care. In any case, you are not allowed to go anywhere but the southern military region. Nowhere else. Just as the two were locked in a heated dispute, Commander Peng leisurely walked in from outside. He glanced at the furious Long Hantian, and then at the bewildered Yi Bai, letting out a sigh. Enough, Hantian, stop this nonsense. He said calmly. We cannot retain talents like Comrade Yi Bai in our southern military region. Let us transfer his military status directly to the central military region. What? Long Hantian exploded at this revelation. What is this? A blatant betrayal right in front of me. He looked incredulously at his superior, his face turning an alarming shade of red with rage. Without uttering another word, he huffed angrily and stormed out, leaving Yi Bai behind, rooted in place, utterly speechless. What is this all about? I merely wish to contribute more to my country. How did I end up as a source of jealousy among the military leaders? In the hangar, only Yi Bai and Commander Peng remained. Yi Bai watched Long Hantian's retreating figure, feeling both amused and exasperated. Turning to Commander Peng, he said helplessly, Commander, look at the commotion this has caused. Commander Peng waved his hand, a knowing smile gracing his face. Don't mind him. That old fellow simply has that temperament. Come, let us go check out the Lynx you modified. In Long Hantian's office, Yi Bai found him sulking alone. General Long, the Lynx is ready. Aren't you going to take a look? Yi Bai knocked on the door and spoke up. Long Hantian, without turning around, grunted dismissively. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see the vehicle created by a traitor. At this, Yi Bai felt a surge of indignation. He despised such unreasonable moral coercion. Fine. If you refuse to see it, then I shall send it directly to the central military region. I believe Commander Nya will surely be interested. You dare. Long Hantian slammed his hand on the desk, rising furiously, pointing a finger at Yi Bai, and cursed loudly. You traitor. Traitor my foot. Are you out of your mind? Yi Bai shot back, thoroughly provoked. I am trying to help you with research and equipment development. And you label me a traitor? Fine. Since you say so, then no one will have this vehicle. A glint of determination flickered in Yi Bai's eyes as he turned to leave. I don't want it anymore. I'll destroy it right now. Where are the explosives? Where are all the design documents? I will blow it all up. Saying this, he casually grabbed what appeared to be a remote detonator from a nearby toolbox and pressed the button. Boom. A thunderous explosion echoed from the direction of the hangar. The entire office building shook violently. Long Hantian was taken aback. His face turned pale. He had never imagined that Yi Bai's temper could explode even more fiercely than his own. Without a second thought, he dashed toward the hangar like a madman. However, upon arriving at the hangar door, he found the pristine Lynx vehicle standing unharmed in place, while only a nearby abandoned metal fuel tank had been blown up. Staring at Yi Bai, who was holding the remote with an amused expression, Long Hantian was left speechless. You bastard, are you playing me? Yi Bai reined in his anger, looking at him calmly. General Long, if you truly do not care about this vehicle, I will call the Central Military Region to come and take it away. Long Hantian gazed at the futuristic Lynx, unable to utter a word of dissent. With a stern face, he stubbornly replied, all of this is for the country, for the national defense of our Southern Military Region. Taking a deep breath, he forced down his discomfort and squeezed out 3 words through gritted teeth. Let us test it. Seeing this, Yi Bai was elated. This old fellow is indeed proud. How many good things has your 32nd Group Army received from me? Optical stealth pickups, firefighting rocket launchers, firefighting machine guns. Didn't I procure all of them for you? You've congratulated me on my fortune several times already. Now, I merely have an additional collaborating military region, and you're not pleased? Long Hantian looked at Yi Bai's triumphant grin, sighing in resignation. Alas, it seems that it is not that there is no retribution, but that the time has not yet come. I have indeed fallen into this kid's hands for life. However, although I may temporarily have to accept my fate, I will never easily relinquish the thought of binding Yi Bai to the war machines of my Southern Military Region. Everyone gathered again at the military district's exclusive testing ground. This time, at the center of the field, the brand new Lynx stood quietly, awaiting its first test. As Long Hantian laid eyes on the vehicle for the first time, he was completely astounded. Is this still a Lynx vehicle? The originally rudimentary design, akin to an open-top iron frame, has vanished. In its place stands a robust new body, crafted from deep black carbon fiber, exuding a sense of power with its sharp angles. What leaves Long Hantian feeling particularly unsettled is the overwhelming array of weapon systems densely packed onto this vehicle. Atop the chassis lies a triad turret, flanked by 2 formidable 30mm rotary cannons, each boasting 6 stout barrels. Centrally positioned within the turret are 8 neatly arranged launch bays, each housing a round of specialized ammunition. Furthermore, atop the turret, an additional 360-degree rotating micromissile launch system with 32 launch units has been affixed. The entire vehicle, from front to back and top to bottom, is nearly filled with an assortment of artillery and gun muzzles. Long Hantian circled the vehicle, increasingly astonished and perplexed. Yi Bai, with this many weapons mounted, it lacks even a decent armor plate. Can this contraption possibly survive on the battlefield? To him, this vehicle appeared to be a mobile, unprotected ammunition depot. One stray bullet could lead to an instant detonation. Upon hearing this, Yi Bai merely smiled enigmatically. Long Commander, you seem to misunderstand. The design philosophy of this vehicle is encapsulated in a single phrase. The best defense is a good offense. Just imagine. If we can eliminate the enemy before they even fire a shot, wouldn't we ensure our own survival? Pointing at the intricate weapon systems, Yi Bai continued to elaborate. Despite its seemingly cumbersome appearance, I assure you, its agility surpasses your imagination. In fact, it is even more nimble than your original lightly armed Lynx. Of course, such formidable capability comes at a cost, Yi Bai acknowledged with a shrug. Its only drawback is the expense, just a tad on the pricey side. According to my proposal, retrofitting one would cost approximately 12 million. 12 million. Long Hantian's eyelids twitched at the mention of this figure. This price nearly rivals that of the latest main battle tanks. However, if its combat performance truly matches Yi Bai's claims, such a price might not be entirely unreasonable. Alright, enough talk. I'm eager to see it in action. Long Hantian exclaimed. Let us take it for a spin. I want to witness its combat effectiveness firsthand. Absolutely. Chapter 206, an all-encompassing enhancement. A beast that makes one's blood race. Yi Bai snapped his fingers, and immediately, staff began to set up various testing projects in the arena. Soon, everything was ready. A professionally trained, fully armed Special Forces soldier, took his place in the cockpit of the new Lynx. The first test, mobility performance. Let the test commence. At the commander's signal, the black beast, which had been quietly standing still, roared to life with a deep and powerful engine growl reminiscent of a wild animal. Almost instantly, to everyone's astonishment, the seemingly heavy Lynx shot forward like an arrow released from a bow. The wheels left two distinct black marks on the ground. On the large screen in the viewing area, a set of astonishing data was displayed in real time. Acceleration to 100 km/h, 29 seconds. 29 seconds. Long Hantian's eyes nearly popped out at this figure. He could hardly believe his eyes. This had to reach the acceleration level of a top-tier supercar. A multi-terrain assault vehicle achieving a 100 km/h acceleration in under 3 seconds? Who would dare to believe it? Meanwhile, the Lynx, after completing its straight-line acceleration, began a slalom and emergency maneuver test. The massive vehicle navigated skillfully between the closely spaced cones. Each turn was precise, the vehicle's stance remarkably stable, firmly adhering to the ground. Minimum turning radius, under 2 meters. Another outrageous statistic appeared on the screen. Keep in mind, this is a military vehicle, not a compact family sedan. That such a large vehicle could execute such extreme turning maneuvers was nothing short of extraordinary. Next came the emergency braking test. Upon reaching a speed of 100 km/h, the driver slammed the brakes. Amid the ear-piercing screech of tires, the fast-moving Lynx came to a steady stop almost instantaneously. Braking distance from 100 km/h, 8 meters. This was a 2-meter improvement over the previous lightly armed Lynx's 10-meter braking distance. Observing this series of terrifying mobility performance data, although Long Hantian's face was filled with shock, his brow remained slightly furrowed. He acknowledged that the vehicle's mobility was indeed astonishingly superior. Yet, if that were all it offered, it would hardly justify its exorbitant cost of 12 million, comparable to that of a main battle tank. Yi Bai, sensing his thoughts, chuckled, "Commander Long, don't rush. The best is yet to come." The second test, terrain traversability. Let it begin. As the order was given, the ground in the center of the arena began to rise slowly, ultimately forming a steep slope simulating mountainous terrain. The incline reached an astounding 51 degrees. From the side, it nearly appeared to be a straight line. The new Lynx approached the base of the slope slowly. Everyone held their breath. This vehicle, when fully loaded with ammunition and fuel, weighed in at 25 tons. The original Lynx, at a full load of 18 tons, had a maximum climbing angle of merely 31 degrees. Now, this heavier vehicle was set to tackle an even steeper incline. Was that feasible? As the crowd collectively felt a surge of anxiety, the Lynx sprang into action. The roar of the engine intensified. The four massive, intricately patterned special tires gripped the slope's surface with tenacity. Incredibly, this 25-ton black beast began to ascend the near-vertical incline with steadfast determination, inching its way upward. The entire process was steady and powerful, devoid of any slipping or hesitation. Ultimately, it successfully reached the summit of the slope. The maneuver was executed with seamless grace. "My goodness!" gasps echoed from the audience. This had completely upended their understanding of the off-road capabilities of wheeled vehicles. Yet the test continued. Next was the vertical obstacle test. In the center of the arena, 6 sturdy concrete barriers, each standing 60 centimeters tall, were erected. The Lynx adjusted its posture and charged forward. Boom, 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 boom. Accompanied by 6 resounding impacts, the 6 robust obstacles were effortlessly traversed as if the vehicle were a bulldozer. Throughout the entire process, the vehicle experienced minimal jolting. The unmodified original Lynx could only manage a maximum vertical obstacle height of 40 centimeters. Following this, the water immersion test commenced. The vehicle effortlessly traversed an artificial stream with a depth of 0.8 meters, exhibiting no signs of hesitation. Its terrain adaptability surpassed that of the original Lynx vehicle by several magnitudes. Subsequently, a series of rigorous tests evaluating the structural integrity of the vehicle ensued. Whether it was a drop test from a height of 10 meters or a continuous off-road endurance test simulating various extreme conditions over a distance of 1,500 kilometers, or even a limit driving test on a slope inclined at 45 degrees, the newly modified Lynx performed flawlessly, without a single issue. However, despite this, Long Hantian's brow remained furrowed. He acknowledged that the modified Lynx had indeed achieved an unparalleled level of mobility and reliability. Yet, he still deemed it inadequate in value. "Yi Bai, I concede that you have elevated this vehicle's performance to an astonishing degree," he said, gazing at Yi Bai. "However, Bear in mind that an original Lynx of equally remarkable performance costs merely 5 to 6 million. Yours demands 12 million. If it merely offers slightly superior performance, then the cost-effectiveness is exceedingly low. In his view, spending double the price for enhancements that, while exceptional, were not irreplaceable, was utterly unnecessary. Upon hearing this, Yi Bai's smile brightened even further, as Long Hantian had finally grasped the crux of the matter. Yi Bai immediately snapped his fingers towards the command platform. General Long, do not rush. The basic tests have concluded. Now, let us delve into the most exhilarating phase, the firepower test. As Chapter 207 unfolded, one might mistake the scene for an artillery battalion arriving. With Yi Bai's words, a vast expanse simulating urban combat and rugged terrain gradually rose at the far end of the testing ground. This battlefield was densely populated with hundreds of humanoid targets propped up by steel pipes, mimicking a large-scale enemy ground force. The first item of the firepower test, a suppressive strike on a mass of soft targets. Let the test commence. At the moment the order was issued, the triad turret atop the Lynx sprang into action. Two fearsome 6-barreled 30mm rotating cannons aimed menacingly at the cluster of humanoid targets. In the next instant, the deafening roar reverberated throughout the surroundings. Two blazing tongues of tracer rounds erupted from the dark mouths of the cannons, hurtling towards the distant targets. Countless shell casings cascaded from either side of the turret, quickly forming a small mountain on the ground. The hundreds of humanoid targets, faced with the fury of the twin fire tongues, were utterly obliterated, as if made of paper, disintegrating in mere seconds. The wrathful fire continued to surge forth, tearing through the steel pipes supporting the targets, sending sparks flying and leaving them riddled with holes. In just 30 seconds, 1,200 rounds of special 30mm ammunition were expended. When the gunfire ceased and the smoke cleared, the once semblant battlefield had transformed into a desolate wasteland, resembling a plowed field. The steel pipes lay shattered, their broken ends glowing red from the intense heat. Long Hantian, gazing at this hellish spectacle, felt his scalp tingle. He envisioned the harrowing battlefield of decades past, the brutal anti-Eagle conflict. He could hardly fathom the devastation wrought if the once mighty Eagle forces had possessed such a high-mobility, infantry-mowing weaponry. The sacrifices demanded of their brave volunteers, who faced the iron tide with nothing but flesh and bone, would have been magnified exponentially. This was no mere weapon. It was an embodiment of slaughter. Observing Long Hantian's astonishment, Yi Bai's smile widened further. General Long, this is merely an appetizer. The second item of the firepower test, a siege warfare assessment. Let us begin. As the command was issued, several robust simulated bunkers, constructed of reinforced concrete, emerged deeper within the target area. There were even a few decommissioned Type 59 tanks serving as targets. The 8 hive-like launch pods atop the Lynx gradually opened. Launch. Whoosh. 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 Several different types of special munitions shot forth, trailing long tails of fire. One penetrator round accurately drilled into the top of a simulated bunker, resulting in a violent explosion that reduced the sturdy structure to rubble. An armor-piercing shell struck the frontal armor of a Type 59 tank, piercing through the thick steel as if it were paper. A thermobaric round detonated above an expansive simulated battlefield, unleashing a terrifying shockwave and high temperatures that flattened the area. Additionally, smoke grenades capable of creating massive clouds to shield advancing troops, as well as incendiary rounds transforming the entire field into a fiery inferno, were deployed. Witnessing this array of formidable munitions, Long Hantian was rendered speechless. With this vehicle, they would possess the capability to engage in siege warfare, dismantle enemy bunkers, and even confront enemy tank formations in the field. This is overwhelmingly powerful, Long Hantian murmured. He was utterly astonished by the Lynx's astonishing ground strike capability. However, as a seasoned general, he quickly regained his composure and posed a more pointed and pragmatic question. Yi Bai, while this vehicle's ground firepower is indisputable, the threats from the skies on modern battlefields are equally lethal. What if it encounters enemy armed helicopters during a mission, or faces a surprise attack from concealed foes wielding RPGs? Does it possess countermeasures? Of course it does, Yi Bai replied confidently, then issued new commands to the command platform. Firepower Test 3, Air Defense and Anti-Missile Testing. Commence now. As his orders were executed, the previously dormant 32-launcher Hive-style micromissile system atop the Lynx began to activate. Simultaneously, dozens of drones of varying sizes approached from the distance, simulating enemy armed helicopters and incoming RPG projectiles from different heights and angles. Launch. Whoosh. 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 Whoosh! In an instant, the 32 vertical launch units erupted in a dazzling display, resembling a swarm of bees taking flight. 32 compact yet swift micromissiles, trailing white streaks, soared skyward. They then accurately targeted the approaching drones. Although these micromissiles had a small caliber and lacked the power to destroy larger drones with a single hit, often requiring 2 or 3 missiles to eliminate a single target, their advantages lay in their rapid response times and sheer quantity. Moreover, it possesses exceptionally advanced autonomous targeting and ballistic correction capabilities. Boom, boom, boom. The sky erupted into a dazzling array of sparks. Those aggressively approaching drones stood no chance against the impenetrable net of interception formed by miniature missiles, all of them obliterated with precision mid-air. As he gazed at the drone wreckage cascading from the heavens like rain, Long Hantian felt a tingling sensation at the nape of his neck. Words failed to convey the tumult of emotions within him at that moment. He silently calculated in his mind. If all the ammunition aboard this Lynx vehicle were converted into traditional artillery shells, the firepower it could unleash in a single strike would nearly rival the combined firepower of an entire artillery battalion equipped with 122mm howitzers firing in unison. One vehicle equating to an entire artillery battalion. Furthermore, it boasted maneuverability akin to that of a supercar, off-road capabilities comparable to a tank, and a formidable air defense capability that could challenge even armed helicopters. This modified Lynx vehicle was astonishingly comprehensive. It could hardly be termed a mere vehicle. It was undeniably a mobile fortress of war, capable of swift terrestrial movement while possessing triad strike capabilities in land, sea, and air. Chapter 208. Infiltrating enemy lines. No less than a tactical nuclear weapon. Of course, this Lynx vehicle was not without its shortcomings. Just as Long Hantian was still immersed in unparalleled astonishment, Yi Bai proactively pointed out the vehicle's deficiencies. In pursuit of ultimate firepower and maneuverability, it had nearly forsaken all passive defenses. Thus, if it were subjected to relentless fire from the enemy's heavy machine guns on the battlefield, or ensnared within a preemptively laid extensive minefield, or even struck directly by the enemy's heavy anti-tank missiles, it would still face a potentially fatal crisis. However, upon hearing this, Long Hantian waved his hand dismissively. A flaw does not obscure a gem. Every weapon possesses its vulnerabilities. The key lies in how to utilize it. If one can wield it adeptly, maximizing its strengths while mitigating its weaknesses, I firmly believe this vehicle can indeed sway the course of a localized battlefield. The more he pondered, the more exhilarated he became. And he immediately made a decision. Let us go. Immediately compile all the empirical data of this Lynx vehicle. Upload it to the military exercise department. I want them to conduct a war game simulation at once. I am eager to see what role this formidable war beast will play within the framework of modern warfare. In the Southern Military District's Military Exercise Department, the finest military advisors and strategic analysts convened. Their daily tasks involved utilizing cutting-edge supercomputers to simulate and analyze various combat scenarios. When the head of the Military Exercise Department received the empirical data personally delivered by Long Hantian regarding the new Lynx vehicle, he promptly summoned all the core think tank members for an urgent analysis and discussion. An hour later, Long Hantian returned to the conference room of the Military Exercise Department. How is it? Has the simulation result come out? He asked, barely able to contain his anticipation. What is the practical effectiveness of this Lynx vehicle in combat? The head of the Military Exercise Department wore a complex expression, a blend of excitement and confusion. He regarded Long Hantian with uncertainty and replied, General Long, are you certain that the data you provided us is accurate? If this thing successfully penetrates enemy lines, the destruction and deterrence it could unleash would be akin to that of a low-yield tactical nuclear weapon. Another strategist added, indeed, we have simulated it over 100 times. And whether in urban warfare or open field assaults, as long as this vehicle is present, the battle becomes a one-sided massacre. We could scarcely identify any conventional means to effectively counter it. This is practically a bug-level configuration that even games would shy away from. Does such a vehicle truly exist? Tactical nuclear weapon. Upon hearing this assessment, Long Hantian felt his heart skip a beat. An uncontrollable wave of elation surged through him. He understood all too well what the term tactical nuclear weapon signified in modern warfare. It represented the ultimate strike of fury employed by a great power when its conventional forces were on the brink of exhaustion, a last resort of unparalleled wrath. This fury did not signify impotence. Quite the opposite, it represented a devastating power too formidable to be wielded lightly. Yet now, the Lynx vehicle, modified by Yi Bai, was merely a conventional weapon, yet it bore a threat level comparable to that of tactical nuclear arms. If it could be mass-produced and deployed within the military, the future battlefield would no longer be a contest of equals. It would be an absolute rout. Ha! Indeed. Long Hantian's booming laughter resonated as he absorbed the incredulous astonishment of the military exercise department strategists. Professor Liang, if you don't believe it, I can take you to our exercise field right now to see the vehicle in person. Thus, Long Hantian led a contingent of strategists, headed by Liang Jichao, back to the testing grounds. When the seasoned expert Liang, accustomed to cutting-edge weaponry, laid eyes on the black beast, a flicker of undeniable shock crossed his features. Without rushing to inquire, he donned white gloves and began to explore the Lynx vehicle, lightly tapping the black chassis with his fingers. He meticulously examined the two fearsome, six-barreled rotary cannons while rapidly calculating their fire density and coverage range in his mind. After thoroughly inspecting the vehicle, beads of perspiration had formed on Liang Jichao's forehead. "This is no mere Lynx vehicle," he exclaimed, his voice trembling. "It ought to be called a Tiger vehicle. I assure you, once this vehicle is mass-produced and integrated into our forces, the Dragon Kingdom's army will possess a capability that far surpasses the rest of the world." Upon hearing the final verdict from the most authoritative expert, the last vestiges of doubt in Long Hantian's heart dissipated entirely. He turned eagerly to Yi Bai. "Yi Bai? When can this vehicle be mass-produced?" Yi Bai, hearing this, spread his hands helplessly. "General Long, I am merely a researcher, responsible for its modification and upgrades. As for mass production, that involves production lines, supply chains, and personnel training, an intricate array of issues that I cannot handle alone." Long Hantian's expression shifted to one of deep regret. What a pity, truly a pity, but he quickly regained his composure. "Rest assured, I will report this matter to the higher-ups immediately. We must expedite the mass production of this Tiger vehicle." After speaking, he glanced at Yi Bai and cleared his throat awkwardly. Yi Bai shot him a sidelong glance. "You don't think my creation is dirty now, do you?" Long Hantian felt a twinge of embarrassment. "You are right. We are both working for the nation. How could it be dirty? However, since you emerged from the Southern Military District, this is your starting point. To speak candidly, I genuinely hope you remain in the Southern Military District." Upon hearing this, Yi Bai was momentarily taken aback. "Rest assured, I hail from the Southern Military District. How could I possibly forget my roots? There is no need for you to worry." Upon hearing Yi Bai's words, Long Hantian finally, and completely, felt a sense of relief. He nodded, yet a wave of inexplicable sentiment surged within him. He understood that Yi Bai was no ordinary individual. Perhaps it would not be long before this young man would soar into the skies like a dragon breaking free from shallow waters. Chapter 209. Undertaking New Projects. Modifying infantry anti-tank vehicles. After confirming the immense strategic value of the Tiger vehicle, Long Hantian's spirits were exceptionally high. He gazed at Yi Bai and suddenly extended a new invitation. "Yi Bai, a month from now, our Southern War Zone will conduct a military exercise codenamed Juri, the highest caliber of nuclear deterrent exercises. I hope you can attend." "Me?" Yi Bai was somewhat astonished. "Is my status sufficient to participate in such a grand military exercise?" "Of course you must attend," Long Hantian exclaimed, slapping his thigh with conviction. "The military weapons you have developed, be it the electromagnetic cannon or the Tiger vehicle, will be fully integrated into my forces for this exercise. I assure you, they will make a significant impact. I want that notorious Blue Guangxi, who loves to show off during drills, to truly experience the sensation of being overwhelmed by technology. Moreover, the standards for this military exercise are extraordinarily high. Many prominent figures will be present to observe. As the chief designer of these cutting-edge weapons, your presence is essential." Upon hearing this, Yi Bai felt a surge of intense anticipation. Indeed, his creations, whether the silent interception firefighting electromagnetic cannon, the formidable Tiger vehicle, the optical stealth pickup, or the anti-aircraft artillery, what astounding energy would they unleash when truly integrated into a modern, systematic military exercise? Yi Bai was eager to witness it firsthand. "All right, Commander Long. I will definitely attend," Yi Bai replied with enthusiasm. "Wonderful." Long Hantian appeared exceedingly pleased. "However, there remains over a month before the exercise, so you cannot afford to be idle during this time. I have a new project I would like to assign to you." With that, he retrieved a document from his briefcase and handed it to Yi Bai. "I hope you can assist us in modifying a military vehicle. This time, it is our active infantry anti-tank vehicle. I have but one requirement. It must be capable of delivering lethal strikes against our country's most advanced Type 99A main battle tank. For this project, the military district is prepared to allocate $50 million for research and development. He placed the document in Yi Bai's hands and patted his shoulder. I am aware that the difficulty of this project is immense, as it involves the Type 99A. Therefore, there is no need to rush. Take your time to research. We eagerly await your good news. With that, he left, satisfied. Yi Bai examined the document, perusing the detailed specifications of the Type 99A main battle tank. Simultaneously, he instinctively searched online for public data regarding this king of land warfare and compared it to the main battle tanks of the Bear and Eagle nations. This comparison stirred a storm of excitement within him. It was astonishing, whether in terms of firepower, armor thickness, or the sophistication of the fire control system. The data of the Type 99A was indeed world-class, even surpassing in certain aspects. If he were to have the opportunity to personally modify this Type 99A main battle tank in the future, what extraordinary existence could it become? However, he was also aware that a national treasure of the Type 99A's caliber must hold a very high status within the system, at least a C grade, if not a B grade. It seemed imperative for him to strive diligently to accumulate shock value and expedite the system upgrade. Yi Bai immersed himself in the system, issuing commands to the quantum computer in the second phase laboratory. Develop a modification plan for the infantry anti-tank vehicle aimed at penetrating the Type 99A main battle tank. Ding. Command received. Executing plan development. Simulation complete. An A-grade modification plan. Divine Fury electromagnetic railgun deployment plan has been generated. This plan is estimated to require a shock value of 70 million, as he did not possess sufficient shock value at the moment. Yi Bai decided to submit the already completed Tiger vehicle and the rental car to the system. Ding. Host has completed a D-grade modification project. Free attribute points X2. Ding. Host's cumulative completion of modification projects has reached a system upgrade progress of 410. A series of system notifications echoed in Yi Bai's mind. Without hesitation, he opened his personal attribute panel. System, allocate 2 points to appearance and 3 points to intelligence. As the attribute points increased, Yi Bai felt an unprecedented clarity in his mind. Many questions that previously required careful thought to comprehend now seemed instantly discernible. However, he found it peculiar that the added 2 points to appearance did not seem to yield any significant change. He glanced in the mirror and felt he still looked as handsome as before. With a hint of curiosity, Yi Bai returned to the Yunxiao auto repair shop. As he stepped through the door, Zhang Hongying and Sun Ling, who were busy organizing tools in the yard, both looked up simultaneously. When their gazes fell upon Yi Bai, both girls momentarily froze, a flicker of barely perceptible intrigue flashing in their eyes as they unabashedly stared at him for several moments. Yi Bai felt somewhat bewildered by their scrutiny. Yet, as he met their gazes, the two girls, like startled rabbits, immediately averted their eyes bashfully, unwilling to look at him any longer. Interestingly, when Yi Bai turned his head, pretending not to notice them, he distinctly felt their eager, curious gazes stealthily returning to him. Unable to contain himself, Yi Bai touched his face and curiously asked, "What's the matter? Is there something on my face? Why do you keep staring at me?" Zhang Hongying's face instantly flushed crimson. She shyly lowered her head and fiddled with the hem of her clothes, unable to utter a word. It was Sun Ling, with a bit more courage, who softly spoke to Yi Bai. "Boss, I feel like you have become even more handsome." "Really?" Yi Bai feigned a stern expression, pretending to be upset. "What? Was I not handsome before?" "And no." Sun Ling quickly waved her hands, eager to clarify. "Boss, you were already the most handsome man in the world. It's just, today you seem to have an even greater charm. It's that kind of feeling that makes one want to look a little longer." Hearing her words of praise brought immense joy to Yi Bai's heart. It seemed the points allocated to appearance did not merely alter his features, but enhanced his allure on a deeper level, increasing his intangible appeal to the opposite sex. Those attribute points were indeed well spent. Just as he reveled in his newfound charm, his phone suddenly rang. Chapter 210. In a few days. Mom and Dad will be back? The call was from his mother, Lin Shushua. Yi Bai pressed the answer button, and his mother's exquisite and well-preserved visage appeared on the screen. Lin Shushua appeared to be on the deck of a luxurious cruise ship, her long, silky hair blowing in the sea breeze, enhancing her allure as a mature woman. "Son, have you missed your mother?" Her voice was laced with affection. "Mom, is it daytime over there?" "Indeed. I've just arrived at the port. In a few days, I'll be home." Lin Shushua replied with a smile. "You've truly endured a lot this summer, staying home alone. Once I return, I'll make it up to you." Yi Bai chuckled in response. "Rest assured, Mom. I've had a wonderful summer. Not only have I earned a significant amount of money, but I've also met some remarkable people." Lin Shushua listened to her son's slightly boastful tone, merely smiling in silence, thinking to herself, I'll quietly enjoy your bragging. However, as her gaze inadvertently drifted to Sun Ling behind Yi Bai and the graceful Zhang Hongying, who kept her head lowered yet exuded an extraordinary presence, her expression changed instantly. Oh my dear son, your summer has been more than just good, hasn't he it? Your tastes seem to have improved as well. When do you plan to expand the Yi family? Your mother is anxious to hold grandchildren. Upon hearing his mother's playful words, Yi Bai's face flushed crimson. He hurriedly explained to the phone, Mom, don't say such things. She's my newly recognized younger sister. Younger sister? Lin Chushua feigned anger. If you desire a sister, your father and I can certainly provide one. It's not as if we cannot. What can't you discuss with your mother? Are you feeling shy? With her words, Zhang Hongying's already rosy cheeks turned crimson to the ears. Although Sun Ling felt her heart racing with nervousness, her beautiful eyes still secretly held a glimmer of hope as she glanced at Yi Bai. Observing his mother's knowing expression, Yi Bai felt overwhelmed. Mom, really? It's not what you think. All right, Lin Chushua laughed, her amusement evident. I understand. You're ambitious yet lack the courage. Yi Bai was left speechless. All right, Mom. I can't talk to you anymore. Let us discuss this face to face when you return. Understood. Your mother won't intrude on your young people's world. Oh no. It's a three-person world now. As Yi Bai listened to his mother's increasingly outrageous teasing, he felt his blood pressure rising. Unable to bear it any longer, he ended the call. Meanwhile, at the other end of the cruise ship, Yi Nantian approached with 2 glasses of red wine, curious about his wife's laughter. What's the matter? What is you so joyful? Did you finish chatting with our son? He handed a glass to Lin Chushua and inquired, what did you discuss? What do you mean by understanding? Lin Chushua took a sip from her glass and shot a glare at her husband, retorting, what do I understand? I certainly comprehend the pretentiousness of the Yi family lineage. Had I not pursued you relentlessly back in the day, you wouldn't have even undressed me. You wanted it so badly, yet were so reluctant. And now? Humph. Upon hearing this, Yi Nantian instinctively rubbed his aching waist, wearing a sheepish grin. Dear, I'm a bit tired today. I'd like to rest. Lin Chushua snorted, ignoring him, and gracefully walked to the sofa in the cabin, reclining in an alluring manner. The silk nightgown barely concealed her exquisite figure, her long, fair legs exposed to the air, and the subtle yet enticing cleavage added an irresistible allure. Yi Nantian forcibly shifted his gaze away from his wife's captivating form and attempted to change the subject. Dear, we agreed to give our son $5 million as startup capital for college. Do you think that's too much? Upon hearing this, Lin Chushua sat up abruptly. Too much? Where's it too much? Our son has never run a business, and you just handed him an entire auto repair factory to manage. He has undoubtedly struggled immensely these past months. What's wrong with giving him $5 million? I want to give him $50 million, $500 million. I decide this. If you dare disagree, you'll sleep alone tonight. All right, you decide. Yi Nantian quickly conceded, shaking his head. However, he truly missed their son. Meanwhile, at the Yunshao auto repair factory, after hanging up, Yi Bai looked at the 2 girls blushing from his mother's teasing and smiled. In a few days, my parents will return. Hongying, I'll take you to meet your godfather and godmother. They can be a bit self-assured at times, but they're good people. Turning to Sun Ling, he asked sincerely, would you like to recognize me as your older brother? That way, we'll be family. Sun Ling was momentarily taken aback, her beautiful eyes brimming with tears of gratitude. Can I really? She asked softly, her self-doubt evident. Of course. Yi Bai interrupted her, looking into her eyes earnestly. I trust your character after all this time. Sun Ling. Those 4 words melted away the last barriers in Sun Ling's heart like the warmest sunlight. Unable to hold back any longer, tears streamed down her face as she threw herself into Yi Bai's embrace, holding him tightly. Zhang Hongying cautiously approached Yi Bai's side, and he wrapped his other arm around her as well. Her face flushed crimson. Yet her heart was filled with an unprecedented sense of happiness and security. Embraced by 2 lovely girls, Yi Bai felt like a true victor in life. However, soon both girls sensed something amiss. They felt a peculiar sensation, something slipping between their tightly pressed thighs, akin to a small mouse. But the mouse would only stretch its legs when it was lifeless, gradually becoming unresponsive. It seemed as though she possessed some sort of enchantment. After all, there was no blood relation between us. It is my honor to serve you, dear brother. I am willing to do so, even if I must remain a woman who stays behind the scenes, hidden from view. Upon hearing these words, Yi Bai felt as if his brain had been struck by lightning, a resounding buzz echoing in his mind. He gasped in disbelief, staring at Sun Ling, and instinctively glanced towards Zhang Hongying, who, though still shyly bowing her head, spoke in a voice so soft it resembled a whisper. I, too, am willing to serve you. Brother. Boom. Yi Bai felt as if his mind was about to combust. Two stunningly beautiful women, both in the prime of their youth, were willing to serve him. Just as he was enveloped in extreme shock and elation, Sun Ling had already begun to take action. With slightly awkward movements, she gathered her lustrous black hair into an elegant updo, revealing her long, graceful neck, akin to that of a swan. She then turned to gently help the still somewhat bewildered Zhang Hongying style her hair as well. Looking at Yi Bai, Sun Ling's charming face bore a hint of shyness and an endearing innocence. Brother, I'm not very skilled at this, but I understand a little. If I happen to make any mistakes, please don't be angry. Yi Bai was utterly astonished. He never imagined that the blissful life he had longed for would arrive so suddenly, so unexpectedly. He was so excited he could hardly articulate his thoughts. And no problem. You both just wait a moment. I'll take a quick shower. Sun Ling chuckled softly, covering her mouth. Brother, let me help you wash your back. No. I can do it myself. Yi Bai felt that if he stayed any longer, he might lose control. So he dashed into the bathroom like a man fleeing for his life. Seeing his endearing, flustered retreat, Sun Ling couldn't help but laugh. Her smile blooming like 1,000 flowers. The sound of water splashing echoed from the bathroom as Yi Bai hurriedly took a quick shower, forcing his heated mind to cool down. When he emerged wrapped in a towel, he found both girls patiently waiting for him in the living room. However, Zhang Hongying now wore an expression of curiosity. She turned to Sun Ling and quietly asked, Sister Ling, why are we styling our hair? And how exactly are we supposed to serve brother? Is it like when we took care of Grandpa in the hospital? Sun Ling was momentarily taken aback. She gazed into Zhang Hongying's clear, innocent eyes and found herself at a loss for words. Meanwhile, Yi Bai felt completely stunned. It turned out that Zhang Hongying had misunderstood everything. She thought serving meant merely fetching tea and washing clothes. Looking at this pure girl, as innocent as a blank slate, the fiery passion that had ignited in Yi Bai's heart was almost entirely extinguished. He sighed and approached Zhang Hongying, ruffling her hair as he smiled and said, Silly girl, what are you thinking? When I say serve, I mean helping me with a shoulder rub or a back massage. Oh, I see, Zhang Hongying nodded, somewhat understanding but still feeling shy. But I don't know how to massage. Yet soon after, she lifted her head, gazing at Yi Bai with utmost seriousness. But for brother, I'm willing to learn. Upon hearing Yi Bai's words, a flicker of disappointment crossed Sun Ling's eyes, though she quickly concealed it with a gentle smile. All right then, a massage it is. With that, she pulled Yi Bai down onto the couch. To Yi Bai's astonishment, she turned around and sat directly on his lap in a rather provocative manner. Facing him, her long, fair arms gracefully wrapped around his neck, her beaming face almost touching his. Brother, is this a good position for your shoulder massage? Feeling the incredible softness and elasticity of her thighs, as well as the intoxicating scent of her youthful fragrance wafting towards him, Yi Bai was overwhelmed with emotion, nearly brought to tears. Yet he dared not move. Not even a muscle. He never expected Sun Ling to be so forward. Meanwhile, Zhang Hongying observed Sun Ling's posture, her head tilting in contemplation, until she suddenly seemed to grasp something. Her wide, innocent eyes grew large with shock, and instinctively, she covered her eyes with her hands. Her already flushed cheeks turned crimson. Reaching down to her neck, her heart raced wildly. Through the gaps between her fingers, her sparkling eyes shimmered with shyness, astonishment, and an indescribable feeling. At that moment, no one knew what thoughts were swirling in her mind. Chapter 2:12 Yi Bai. One word sums it up: pleasure. Those who understand will know. This so-called massage ultimately concluded with Yi Bai embarrassingly experiencing a nosebleed. As the two crimson streams flowed from his nostrils, Sun Ling, who was perched on his lap, was instantly alarmed. She jumped off the couch in a flurry, searching for tissues while apologizing profusely. I'm so sorry. It's all my fault. I was too, brother. Don't worry. Once the time is right, I will make it up to you. Yi Bai accepted the tissue, pressing it to his nose, and awkwardly waved his hand. It's fine. It's fine. It's not your fault. I'm just young and spirited. A little nosebleed is perfectly normal. He realized that if he stayed with them any longer, it would be more than just a nosebleed. I'm a bit tired and wish to rest alone for a while. You should both head back to your rooms. As soon as he finished speaking, Zhang Hongying sprang up from the couch like a startled deer, darting away without a backward glance, retreating to her room. Sun Ling looked at Yi Bai's flustered demeanor and then at the closed door, her eyes reflecting a hint of helplessness before she too nodded obediently and exited the living room. The living room finally fell silent. Yi Bai exhaled deeply, sinking his thoughts into the system. Since he could not channel his physical energy, he decided to devote it to work instead. He set his sights on a new type of firefighting combat suit. According to the System S data, this firefighting suit boasted extraordinary capabilities, able to withstand temperatures exceeding 1,000 degrees, and its surface was coated with a special nanomaterial that actively absorbed surrounding heat. It could even extinguish fires to some extent. Most importantly, the design of this revolutionary suit was simply stunning. To develop such a groundbreaking firefighting outfit required merely 5 million shock points and 7 days of research time, an incredible value. Without hesitation, Yi-Bai confirmed the research project. Ding! The new firefighting suit project has been initiated. Estimated research time, 7 days. As he had just finished everything and was preparing to exit the system for a good night's sleep, Yi-Bai suddenly sensed some movement beside his leg. It seemed as if someone was crouching there. He abruptly opened his eyes, only to be met with a breathtakingly beautiful face, mere inches away, Sun Ling. He had no idea when she had stealthily returned. Once again, her long raven hair was elegantly tied up high. Brother, Sun Ling gazed at him. Her lovely face flushed like a ripe apple. Hong Ying has already gone off to attend to her duties. You can rest easy. I'll take care of everything else. Yi-Bai beheld the shy demeanor before him, and he felt the blood that had just settled within him boil once more. His heart raced to the point of nearly leaping from his throat. He said nothing, decisively closing his eyes again. 2 hours later, Yi-Bai lay contentedly on the sofa, cradling the enchanting figure curled up like a kitten in his arms. Sun Ling had buried her lovely face deep in his chest, seemingly devoid of any strength. As if she had exhausted all her energy, Yi-Bai looked down at the tired beauty in his embrace, filled with tender affection. You've worked hard. I'll prepare some bird's nest and shark fin soup for you to replenish your strength in a bit. However, Sun Ling lacked even the energy to speak. She gently shook her head in response, murmuring in a lazy, husky voice laced with a nasal tone, No, my lower half is fine, but my upper half is utterly exhausted. I don't even want to talk. Yi-Bai could only feel a mix of amusement and pity for the adorable girl who was too tired to utter a word. He softly kissed her forehead and said, All right, you rest well here. I won't disturb you. With that, he carefully laid Sun Ling down on the sofa and tenderly draped a light blanket over her. After ensuring Sun Ling was comfortably settled, Yi-Bai prepared to step out to procure something to eat. Yet, as he opened the living room door, he was taken aback to find Zhang Hongying standing right outside. She resembled a frightened little rabbit, her hands tightly clutching her clothing. Her pure and flawless face a canvas of shock, shyness, and an indescribable fluster. Upon seeing Yi-Bai, she trembled as if electrified. Without uttering a word, she let out a short gasp and fled back to her room, slamming the door behind her. Yi-Bai stood frozen, his mind blank. Could it be that she had witnessed everything that transpired in the living room? Oh no, this was a disaster. What would Hongying think of him? Would she perceive him as a shameless beast taking advantage of the vulnerable? Just as he stood at the door, anxiously ruminating over the predicament, the familiar sound of an engine roared closer. A white Maserati gradually came to a stop in front of the auto repair shop. The door swung open, and the elegantly dressed Su Qingyue stepped out, radiating an air of nobility. Yi-Bai gazed at her, taking in her exquisite makeup, her lips painted a vibrant red, reminiscent of tempting cherries, and the aura of a wealthy heiress that enveloped her. Suddenly, an intense, wicked urge surged within him. He found himself yearning to pin this noble lady to the ground, to let her experience the labor of the common folk. Alas, Yi-Bai sighed inwardly, realizing that Sun Ling had entirely unleashed the beast that had long been sealed within him. He felt as though he were on the verge of losing control. Determined to shake off the chaotic thoughts, he approached Su Qingyue and inquired, Have you made up your mind? Which car are we modifying? Su Qingyue nodded. Originally, I wanted you to help me modify my Maserati, so it could have features like automatic parking and emergency avoidance, similar to those new electric cars. But then I thought about it. Those features can be found in the new electric vehicles and the safety-renowned Volvo. They don't showcase your uniqueness. So, I prefer the functionalities of Ant Qiao Rian S GTR. I want my car to not only drive on land, but also on water. No, merely driving on water isn't sufficient. I want it to operate underwater as well. Yi-Bai couldn't help but chuckle at her whimsical aspirations. Driving underwater? How could she even conceive of such a notion? Did she think it was a submarine? Chapter 213. Is the #1 fan, Watermelon Peach, coming to Flower City? What? You can't do it? Su Qingyue looked at Yi-Bai, a hint of provocation in her tone. Provocation 1T work on me. Yi-Bai chuckled. Let me check your car first. With that, he approached the white Maserati and gently placed his hand on the door. Ding. Detected modifiable vehicle, Maserati. Vehicle grade, C. Vehicle status, performance intact, and eligible for modification upgrades. Yi Bai immediately issued a command to the system, aiming to customize a modification plan for the Maserati that would allow it to traverse both land and sea and dive underwater. Ding. Command received. Executing plan simulation. Simulation complete. Generated an A-grade modification plan. Neptune All-Terrain Submersible Plan. This plan is estimated to require a shock value of 8 million. 8 million. Yi Bai glanced at his remaining balance of 5 million and began to calculate. He lifted his gaze to Su Qingyue and said, "It can be modified, but it will take 2 days. Really?" A look of delight spread across Su Qingyue's face. Of course, Yi Bai nodded and promptly stated his price. However, this modification plan is highly technical, so the price for the order is 10 million. 10 million. Su Qingyue was immediately taken aback. Why is it so expensive? Although she hailed from a wealthy family, 10 million was still a substantial sum. If you think it's too costly, then forget it. This modification plan is indeed quite challenging. And no, it can be modified. Of course it can. Su Qingyue, fearing Yi Bai might reconsider, quickly insisted. It's just 10 million. It's merely a year's worth of pocket money for me. Upon hearing her bold declaration, Yi Bai felt a mix of emotions, wanting to cry yet unable to. A year's worth of pocket money amounted to 10 million. In comparison, his painstaking efforts in research and taking orders to accumulate his fortune felt as if he were a child from a poor family. Su Qingyue was decisive in her actions. She promptly handed her Maserati keys to Yi Bai and then effortlessly hailed a cab to leave in style. After bidding farewell to Su Qingyue, Yi Bai regarded his remaining 5 million shock value and pondered whether he should invest some of it in promoting the slice videos he had previously released, perhaps enhancing their visibility with some traffic boosts. Just as he contemplated this, his phone suddenly chimed. A watermelon peach. Big streamer, where are you? Why aren't you starting the broadcast yet? I'm dying of anticipation. Yi Bai recognized the familiar ID, recalling the unwavering support from his #1 fan. Don't worry, I'll start the broadcast soon. Really? That is wonderful. The reply came almost instantaneously. By the way, host, you must be quite wealthy now, right? I'm not even sure what gift would please you. Yi Bai chuckled at this message and replied, anything is fine, feel free to choose. However, a moment later, the other party suddenly sent him several photos. They were selfies taken in a yoga studio. The woman in the photos wore a form-fitting yoga outfit, striking various complex and flexible poses. Her enchanting, voluptuous figure and astonishingly perfect curves were fully on display. Yi Bai felt his throat dry up as he gazed at the images. At that moment, he received another message. Host, I happen to have a business trip to Huadu soon. Can we meet then? Almost instinctively, Yi Bai typed back a simple yes and sent it. After all, he was genuinely eager to meet his mysterious and generous #1 fan. Subsequently, Yi Bai adjusted his mindset and opened the live streaming software. It had been a while since his last broadcast. 1,000, 5,000, 10,000. In less than 10 seconds, over 10,000 viewers flooded into his stream. Wow. The host is finally live. I thought you had been abducted by aliens for research. The missing person returns, selling sunflower seeds, peanuts, and mineral water in the front row. Host, what are you planning to stream this time? Is there more groundbreaking technology to unveil? Just then, a striking golden banner seized the entire screen. A peach sends out 30 super rockets. 30 super rockets. Countless captivated onlookers streamed into Yi Bai's live room. The number of viewers surged again, swiftly surpassing 20,000. Observing this dreamlike start with over 20,000 online, even Yi Bai, who had witnessed many grand spectacles, felt the unprecedented intensity of this moment. He expressed gratitude for the 30 rockets sent by the peach and thanked all the viewers for their support. This live stream had no particularly special content. He mainly wanted to announce something. As he would soon be starting school, he planned to relocate his auto repair shop to his school location. He would be opening a larger, more professional auto repair shop in the capital. Therefore, his future live streams and modification services would take place there. What? The host is going to the capital? No way. I've saved for years to get my Wuling Hongguang modified by you. Oh no, the capital is too far. Host, consider developing in our magic city. We have even more luxury cars here. Host, don't go. Can I send you gifts instead? No way. Is it true? The host shop is coming to our capital. That's incredible. It's practically at my doorstep. Haha, brothers from the capital. Our spring has finally arrived. No more traveling far for car modifications. Host, what's the address? I'm heading over now to claim a spot. Wait, did I just hear something monumental? The host said he's going back to school. What? I heard it too. I thought I misheard. Isn't the host a highly skilled car modification expert? Why is he going back to school? I always thought the host was a genius mechanic who dropped out early for some reason. Now you're telling me he is still a student? Oh right. I forgot to mention. I will soon be enrolling at Tsinghua University in the capital, Yi Bai added. At that moment, the live chat exploded. Tsinghua. Am I hearing this right? Is it the one that countless people strive to get into? No way. No way. Not only is the host great at car modifications, but he is also handsome, and he is a prospective Tsinghua student. The sky is falling. I feel my worldview shattering. I always believe that God is fair. He opens a door for you, but closes a window. But for the host, God not only opened a door, but also gifted him an entire villa. Chapter 214. Modifying a Maserati, requiring it to go off-road? Ding. Shock value 1 million. Hearing the system alert in his mind, Yi Bai felt exceptionally pleased. It seemed that the shock factor brought by his status as a prospective Tsinghua student was indeed remarkable. Just then, Sun Ling, who had been resting on the sofa, walked over in loose loungewear. Her already alluring face now bore a charming blush, enhancing her mature and seductive demeanor. She naturally approached Yi Bai and nestled behind him. Seeing this, Yi Bai smiled at the camera and introduced, "Let me introduce her again. This is my sister, Sun Ling. She will also be my personal assistant." After a pause, he added, "Oh, and she is also a new student at Tsinghua this year." Boom. Wow. 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 Did I just see a celestial being descend? The beauty, the figure, the aura, and she is also a Tsinghua scholar. Oh heavens. Are you going to let us ordinary folks live? I'm completely overwhelmed. Not only is the host a scholar, but his assistant is also a stunning genius from Tsinghua. This is just too enviable. Ding. Shock value 2 million. Hearing the shock value double in his mind, Yi Bai was overjoyed. At that moment, Zhang Hongying, who had been in the room, finally emerged, looking a bit dazed. Yi Bai smiled and waved at her. "Come, Hongying, come here. Do you all remember the girl from that video where I ate egg flour soup and bullets? This is the daughter of that hero, Zhang Hongying. Now she is my sister too." The viewers were astonished once more as they saw her delicate features and pure aura, reminiscent of a budding white lotus. Wow. Is this the girl from that video? She looked so pale back then. How did she become so beautiful now? Girls really do transform. This is the real-life version of the ugly duckling turning into a swan. Wait, is this the main point? The main point is that she is also the host's sister? Wow. Host, are you looking for a brother-in-law? Please, let me be your brother-in-law. Any sister will do. I'm not picky. Zhang Hongying instinctively wrapped her arms around Yi Bai's neck from behind. I don't want any brother-in-law. I only want my brother. Her words left the entire live chat in shock. Even Yi Bai turned around, astonished, and hurriedly addressed the camera. Ahem, she is still young, only 17. So don't mind her. However, as soon as he said that, the viewers couldn't hold back any longer. What? Only 17? That is fantastic. A nurturing type. I love it. I can wait. Just a year until she is of age. Brothers, don't fight me for her. From today on, I declare that Sister Zhang Hongying is my dream girl. No way. I must work harder. Study diligently. I must also get into a good university. Striving to become the brother-in-law of the esteemed Yi Bai, the shock value soared to an astonishing 4 million. Yi Bai was utterly astonished as he listened to the surge of shock value in his mind, akin to riding a rocket. Silently, he calculated in his heart. After all his hard work in research, testing, and simulations, it had taken an immense effort to bring forth that formidable Tiger vehicle. The ultimate reward for his labor was merely a fraction of what he had received now. All he did was showcase the exquisite beauty Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying in front of the camera and uttered a few words. Yet he effortlessly acquired a staggering 7 million shock value. The efficiency was simply swifter than robbing a bank. Yi Bai couldn't help but express his heartfelt astonishment. Indeed, while sensuality may not be the foremost productive force, the benefits it yields are undeniably comparable to those derived from scientific advancements, the primary productive force. Alright, dear viewers. Today's live stream comes to a close. In our next session, I shall present to you a brand new, intricately modified Maserati. As for how I shall transform it, stay tuned. Upon hearing this, the audience in the live stream erupted once more. Wow, is there finally a new car to behold? I'm so excited. A Maserati. That's a luxury vehicle. I wonder how Yi Bai will modify it. Anticipation. Anticipation. Yi Bai's creations are always masterpieces. I can hardly wait to see the final product. Amidst the chorus of eager comments and requests for updates, Yi Bai smiled and ended the stream. Although this session was brief, the rewards were monumental. Not only did he effortlessly rake in 7 million shock value, but the content of the live stream was being fervently edited into various clips and videos by countless netizens, spreading like wildfire across the internet. He could foresee that by the time he awakened the following morning, the shock value in his back end would undoubtedly experience another explosive surge. Gaining tens of millions in shock value would pose no challenge at all. At that moment, his previously constrained shock value would once again become abundant. With this thought, Yi Bai's spirit soared. Linger, please take Hong to rest, and help me prepare for the items needed in the live stream the day after tomorrow. All right, brother. Sun Ling obediently nodded. Yi Bai then immersed himself in the system, entering the second phase laboratory. He was ready to exchange the modification plan for Su Qingyue's Maserati. As he contemplated the impending abundance of shock value, a surge of ambition welled up within him. Since finances were no longer a concern, he resolved to elevate the project to an extraordinary level. He not only exchanged for the core all-terrain submarine plan worth 8 million shock value, but also spent an additional 5 million shock value to equip the vehicle with several other cutting-edge auxiliary modification modules. In total, he expended a staggering 13 million shock value. Among all the vehicles he had modified, he deemed this one to possess the highest cost-performance ratio. He was filled with absolute confidence. When he unveiled the final product during the live stream, it would undoubtedly yield an unimaginable fortune in shock value. Chapter 215. In the blink of an eye. Already a captain? After confirming the final modification plan, Yi Bai immediately delved into the enhancement of the Maserati. This modification was divided into 4 core modules. The first module, the most visually striking and central component, was a plasma projection device valued at 5 million shock value. This device comprised 3 parts. The first part was a vehicle-mounted laser array. Yi Bai discreetly installed 6 groups of high-power ultraviolet laser emitters on the roof of the Maserati. Each group emitted ultraviolet lasers with a wavelength of 405 nanometers, invisible to the naked eye, with each laser boasting a power of up to 5 kilowatts. The second part was an air ionization device. He ingeniously concealed a small low-temperature plasma generator within the vehicle's front bumper. This generator could emit a special aerosol mist, laden with charged particles, into the surrounding air while the vehicle was in motion. This aerosol mist posed no harm to human beings, with its ozone concentration well below safety standards. When the 6 high-power ultraviolet lasers illuminated the charged particles suspended in the air, it would ionize the surrounding atmosphere, resulting in a visually captivating, dynamic 3-dimensional projection composed of plasma. The content of this projection would be rendered in real time by the third part, the 3-dimensional rendering controller. Yi Bai integrated a PPX chip, designed for graphic processing and boasting computational power akin to that of a supercomputer, into the vehicle's central control system. This chip could render a towering, several-meter-high, ethereal figure of Poseidon, the god of the sea, wielding a trident, with an astonishing level of detail encompassing 7.2 million rendering surfaces. The second module was a hybrid power system valued at 4 million shock value, to bestow the Maserati with the formidable power worthy of its name. Yi Bai thoroughly reinforced its original power system. He first upgraded the existing 38 TV8 twin-turbo engine, replacing it with a new turbocharger crafted from specialized ceramics, designed to withstand high temperatures and low inertia, elevating its maximum horsepower from over 500 to an astonishing 800. Next, he integrated the world's most advanced permanent magnet synchronous reluctance motors into each of the 4 wheels. Each wheel motor boasted a peak power of 150 kilowatts and a staggering peak torque of 1200 newton meters. Finally, he added a graphene-based supercapacitor matrix to the vehicle's trunk, with an energy density reaching 60 watt-hours per kilogram. This supercapacitor could unleash a discharge power of up to 200 kilowatts instantaneously, providing a continuous surge of power to the 4-wheel motors. The third module, valued at 1 million shock value, was a dynamic stability optimization device. To ensure that the vehicle maintained excellent handling and stability while boasting ferocious power, Yi Bai equipped it with a top-tier CDC electromagnetic suspension system produced by ZF. Additionally, he outfitted it with an intelligent system capable of real-time scanning of the road ahead using 5G millimeter-wave radar. Furthermore, he installed a vortex generator on the vehicle's chassis to produce significant downforce at high speeds. The vehicle's rear wing was also modified into a carbon fiber aerodynamic cloak that could intelligently reshape and sync with the ethereal Poseidon figure. The fourth and final module, worth 3 million shock value, was an all-terrain submarine system. To fulfill Su Qingyue's whimsical dream of driving underwater, Yi Bai designed a groundbreaking submersible system for this vehicle. He seamlessly sealed the entire chassis and body with a high-polymer memory metal material capable of self-repairing scratches. Moreover, he installed a compact life support system that could electrolyze oxygen directly from water within the vehicle. Simultaneously, He designed the four wheels to automatically transform in water, resembling the propellers of a vessel. Consequently, the vehicle could navigate underwater with the freedom of a genuine submarine. A few days later, all the components arrived at the Yunxiao Auto Repair Shop. Yi Bai immediately commenced the assembly. After 2 days and nights of relentless effort, the assembly was finally completed. Submit. Yi Bai resolutely declared within himself. Ding. Host has completed the Sea-level modification project, the Sea God Maserati. Ding. Host has accumulated modification projects. System upgrade progress has reached 510. Ding. You have received a reward, 3 free attribute points. Without hesitation, Yi Bai allocated all 3 newly acquired attribute points to his physical constitution. Instantly, a powerful, life-infused warmth spread throughout his limbs. He felt as though every muscle and bone in his body had been reforged. His physical prowess had enhanced significantly. With my current physical condition, I should easily manage the military training intensity at university, he mused inwardly. However, he also had plans for his impending university life. Education was certainly on the agenda. After all, a diploma from Qingbei University held substantial value. Yet, attending classes daily was unnecessary for him. In his view, with his current knowledge and learning capacity, there was no need to follow the typical curriculum like an ordinary student. He could simply apply to the school and military for exceptions. After all, the modified vehicle had successfully passed military inspection and received a commendation of tactical nuclear weapon level. Although Long Hantian had not mentioned this, he surmised that his application for direct promotion to lieutenant had likely been approved. Perhaps he was merely awaiting the formal appointment notice. As he indulged in these thoughts, a hearty laugh suddenly echoed from the entrance of the repair shop. Ha! Yi Bai? Congratulations. You've been promoted. It was Long Hantian, striding towards him with purpose. Yi Bai's expression darkened at the remark. This middle-aged, greasy man had never genuinely congratulated him. However, Long Hantian's next words left him momentarily speechless. As of today, you are the youngest lieutenant in our military. With no days of service and no military academy training, you've ascended solely through your remarkable scientific achievements. You truly are unprecedented. Wait, Lieutenant, this isn't about wealth, but promotion? Yi Bai received the red-headed document from Long Hantian. Upon opening the appointment letter, he was even more perplexed, for it bore the crimson seal of the Central Theater Command of the People's Army. What is going on, Commander Long? Yi Bai inquired, confused. Wasn't I always attached to your Southern Military District? Why is this appointment from the Central Theater? Long Hantian sighed with resignation. Oh, don't mention it. He waved his hand in explanation. Since you will be studying and developing in the capital, your personnel status must transfer to the Capital Military District, which falls under the Central Theater's jurisdiction. He paused, leaning closer to Yi Bai, and in a conspiratorial tone, advised, let me tell you. Don't be fooled by the seemingly friendly demeanor of that Commander Nya. In reality, the people in the Central Theater are the most cunning. After all, how do you think they maintain their stronghold in the heart of our nation? Listening to this tirade filled with personal grievances, Yi Bai thought to himself, goodness. It seems there are various overt and covert struggles between military districts. Nevertheless, when his gaze returned to the appointment letter, the glaring golden characters spelling lieutenant, Yi Bai ignited a spark of fervor within him. Though merely a junior officer rank, it represented significant allowances, benefits, and privileges that were immensely appealing to someone who had lived in poverty for so long. According to public information, a lieutenant not only received a handsome salary and various subsidies monthly, but also enjoyed priority guarantees and special treatment in housing, healthcare, children's education, and family employment. These were coveted benefits for any ordinary person. Moreover, the most exciting part was that he had just turned 18. If he continued on this path of promotion, he could potentially rise to the rank of a genuine general before 30. The prospect of a brigadier was within reach. Long Hantian continued, oh, there's another matter. The country is organizing an unprecedented National Day military parade. You must have heard some news about it? Yi Bai nodded. If the weapons you developed can prove their worth during this nuclear military exercise and successfully be included in the parade contingent, it will greatly enhance your future evaluations for promotion. Of course, it was still early to discuss this. The immediate priority was to excel in the upcoming military exercise. He patted Yi Bai's shoulder, stating earnestly, during the exercise, I will be in charge of command and operations while you provide continuous technical support and assurance from the rear. And regarding your anti-tank infantry fighting vehicle project, notify me immediately upon achieving results. Absolutely. You can count on me, Commander Long. Yi Bai replied eagerly. Long Hantian nodded in satisfaction, conveyed a few more instructions, and then departed. After bidding farewell to Long Hantian, Yibai carefully stored away the freshly minted lieutenant appointment letter. Just then, a taxi slowly pulled up at the entrance of the repair shop. Su Qingyue stepped out of the vehicle, dressed in a crisp white suit that accentuated her tall figure and cool demeanor, making her appear like an ice queen presiding over a commercial empire. "Is my car modified yet?" she asked directly. "Of course," Yibai replied, gesturing towards the Maserati parked quietly in the workshop. "It's all set." With graceful strides, Su Qingyue entered the workshop. Upon seeing her vehicle, she paused momentarily, for the once vibrant, youthful pink paint had been transformed into a profound, mysterious dark blue, reminiscent of the deep sea. Aside from that, the car seemed unchanged in appearance. She circled the vehicle, furrowing her brow in confusion. "Is this really it? It looks the same except for the color." Yibai, however, smiled mysteriously. In everyday mode, it may appear like any ordinary vehicle. But once the Sea God mode is activated, it becomes entirely different. With that, he lightly clapped his hands, activating Sea God mode. As his words fell, the once silent Maserati underwent a transformation of cataclysmic proportions. Countless minuscule plasma projection devices, nearly imperceptible to the naked eye, suddenly emerged from its sleek chassis. Following this, beams of high-powered, invisible ultraviolet lasers shot forth from the roof of the car. The charged particles expelled by the low-temperature plasma generators in the air were instantly activated. Above the vehicle, a colossal trident, entirely composed of blue plasma and shimmering with dazzling electrical brilliance, materialized seemingly out of thin air. Towering several meters high, it exuded a sense of power and intimidation. Just as Su Qingyue stood in stunned silence, overwhelmed by this miraculous spectacle, something even more astonishing occurred. A grander, more solid blue apparition, radiating an unparalleled majesty, emerged from within the Maserati's body. It was the ancient sea god Poseidon, as if summoned from the annals of myth. This towering figure, constructed of countless plasma particles and brimming with explosive musculature, held eyes that seemed to contain the vastness of the cosmos. He slowly extended his hand and grasped the floating trident firmly. At that moment, he appeared as a true deity descended upon the mortal realm, dominant, unmatched in his dominance. It felt as though a true manifestation of a martial spirit had been vividly conjured into the real world. Su Qingyue was utterly bewildered, standing there, her alluring cherry lips agape, her usually cool and distant eyes now shimmered with unprecedented, profound astonishment. Chapter 217. Oh no, I truly want to place an order this time. This is simply too cool. After a lengthy pause, Su Qingyue finally emerged from her overwhelming shock. She gazed at the imposing sea god, her beautiful eyes sparkling with an unprecedented fervor. "I thought you merely helped me realize the underwater driving feature. I never expected you to present me with such a grand surprise. This naked eye 3D effect is simply astounding." "No, this is not a mere naked eye 3D, Yibai corrected, shaking his head. "This is plasma projection. It can produce actual physical effects." With that, he maneuvered the colossal sea god to slowly lift the trident in his hand. Then, with a swift motion, he thrust it towards the adjacent sturdy wall made of brick and stone. With a sharp sound like electricity coursing through the air, the plasma trident effortlessly pierced through the thick wall. Su Qingyue was horrified. She instinctively took 2 steps back. This destructive power is somewhat astonishing, isn't it? If this vehicle were to scrape against another on the road, wouldn't it simply impale the other's car right through? However, as Yibai retracted the trident from the wall, Su Qingyue was astonished to find that the wall remained unscathed. There was no gaping hole, only a charred mark at the point where the trident had struck, as if seared by intense heat. Yibai smiled and explained, "After all, this is merely a civilian vehicle. It cannot be equipped with such formidable, destructively powerful weapons. What you witnessed was merely a realistic effect created using high temperature and photoacoustic effects. However, while it lacks actual offensive capability on land, once submerged, this sea god projection can serve significant purposes. It will not only help you avoid entangling seaweed and scare away sharks, but also provide early warnings of hidden rocks beneath the water. Thus, it holds great significance. Of course, the most crucial aspect is that this car can indeed submerge in the sea." Listening to Yibai's explanation, Su Qingyue's beautiful eyes brimmed with unparalleled excitement. She felt an overwhelming eagerness to drive this vehicle into the ocean and experience the sensation of being a daughter of the sea. "Yibai, you are truly a god in the realm of automotive modification." At that moment, Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying approached from behind, equipped with professional live-streaming equipment. Yibai nodded at them. "Let us begin the broadcast." As the live stream commenced, countless viewers flooded into the room. This time, The number of viewers surpassed the previous session. Within just a minute, the online count exceeded 30,000. Shortly thereafter, this figure skyrocketed to 50,000. As tens of thousands of viewers beheld the majestic sea god apparition hovering above the Maserati through the live stream, the entire chatroom erupted. What the hell is this? My eyes aren't deceiving me, right? No, man. We asked you to modify a Maserati, not summon a martial spirit. Holy cow! If Poseidon has emerged, does that mean we will next see the Haotian Hammer, Blue Silvergrass, and Tang San's 10,000-year soul beast? I'm completely dumbfounded. Who would dare to compete with this car on the road? Streamer, since you can conjure Poseidon, can you modify one for me like Xiao Yan's Buddha's Fury Lotus? I'm not asking for much, just enough to blow up someone else's car. You're thinking too small. It should be Medusa the Queen, now that's true dominance. Haha, you all are pathetic. If it were me, I would modify an Ultraman. Then everyone would have to give way on the road when I transformed. Yibai chuckled at the myriad of comments, saying, everyone, be patient. This plasma projection technology is already very mature. Once conditions permit, I may consider creating a standardized, mass-market version compatible with all vehicle models, which I will sell in my online store. Upon hearing this, the live stream chatroom erupted once more. No way. Is that for real? Streamer, please don't deceive us. A mass-market version? Does that mean my Wuling Hong Wong could have its own martial spirit? Quick. I'm placing an order right now. I have the money ready, just waiting for you to give the word. One day in the future, when all vehicles are equipped with this plasma projection system, the roads will be filled with uniquely shaped, dazzling mobile martial spirits. The image is simply unimaginable. Yibai glanced at the shock value in the background. In just a short while, it had surged by over 3 million. However, this was still far from the tens of millions required for his armored vehicle modification project. It seemed he needed to ensure that today's effects were remarkable. Fortunately, the number of viewers in the live stream continued to skyrocket. Soon it surpassed the 100,000 mark, and it continued to grow at a terrifying pace, far exceeding all his previous peak viewership. Yibai turned to the camera with a mysterious smile, saying, all right, dear viewers, that was merely an appetizer. The main event is yet to come. Next, I will take this vehicle and drive it into the sea. What? Into the sea? Did I hear that correctly? The viewers in the live stream were utterly bewildered upon hearing Yibai's words. Is the host really going to drive this car into the sea? Previously, they had been astonished but could somewhat comprehend the GTR's ability to glide over the water's surface, given that the vehicle was equipped with 2 powerful jet thrusters at the rear. However, descending into the ocean was an entirely different matter. This meant submerging the entire car. It was not like a fully enclosed electric vehicle such as a Tesla. This was a genuine fuel-powered car, complete with an engine and exhaust system. Could it truly venture into the sea? Wouldn't it risk stalling due to water intake? Chapter 218. The Maserati submerges, mistaken for a fish? After teasing the viewers about the upcoming spectacle, Yibai wasted no time. He instructed Su Qinghue to take the passenger seat, while Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying each held a live streaming device and settled into the back. After 2.5 hours of driving, they finally reached the seaside. Throughout this journey, the number of viewers in Yibai's live stream not only remained stable, but actually increased, surpassing 50,000 and continuing to climb at an alarming rate. Countless netizens flocked to the live stream, eager to witness this unprecedented phenomenon of a car entering the ocean. Yibai gradually halted the vehicle at the water's edge and turned to Su Qinghue, smiling as he asked, "Are you ready? Are you afraid?" Su Qinghue shook her head, replying confidently, "I'm not afraid. I believe in you. You made a GTR drift on water. I trust you will create another miracle this time." Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying in the back also looked at Yibai with unwavering faith. All right, Yibai exclaimed, no longer hesitating. He pressed down hard on the accelerator, simultaneously maximizing the power of the sea god mode. The ethereal figure of the sea god, which had merely hovered above the vehicle, became immensely solid. A towering figure, several meters high and composed of countless blue plasma, surged forth from the car, brandishing a trident that crackled with dazzling electricity. Tourists on the beach were struck dumb by this miraculous sight, standing frozen in astonishment, their expressions akin to witnessing a ghost. What on earth is that? Has technology advanced to this extent? Is that the true form of a martial spirit? And it's Poseidon? Are we filming a movie? This is too realistic. As the crowd remained in a state of shock, the Maserati, now possessed by the sea god, shot into the ocean like an arrow, contrary to their expectations. It did not float on the surface, but, upon entering the water, it silently plunged beneath, vanishing from sight in an instant. The beach fell into a profound silence. only to erupt into a cacophony of panic. It sank. That car has completely submerged. How is this possible? A car drove straight into the sea. It's not floating. It's at the bottom. This is bad. This is serious. Someone is bound to get hurt. Quick, call the police. At the Shenzhen 110 Command Center. The dispatcher was taken aback upon receiving the emergency call. Hello, this is 110. How may I assist you? Officer, you must hurry. A Maserati just drove into the sea. What? A Maserati went into the sea? The dispatcher was equally shocked. Yes, and it's quite bizarre. A giant blue figure holding a trident was standing on the car roof, just like the true form of a martial spirit. The dispatcher replied, Sir, I must remind you that filing a false report can lead to administrative detention. I'm not making it up. Officer, I assure you it's true. Hundreds of us witnessed it. You can come and see for yourselves. The man on the other end was nearly in tears from anxiety. Hearing his earnest tone, the dispatcher sensed that the situation might not be as straightforward as it seemed and promptly reported the incident to her superiors. Soon, several police cars raced to the scene with sirens blaring. After listening to the stunned tourists recount the events, the officers found it hard to believe. However, when they reviewed the surveillance footage from the beach, they all gasped in astonishment. Meanwhile, Yibai's live stream was filled with despair. The moment the Maserati was entirely enveloped by water, the screen went black. Countless viewers assumed that the live streaming equipment had been ruined by water. It's over. The host has really messed up. It's truly sunk. Although I know the host is wealthy, he shouldn't be so reckless with his life. Let us observe a moment of silence. May heaven be free of modified cars. Yet, just when everyone thought this live stream would end in tragedy, the dark screen suddenly illuminated once more, revealing a surreal scene filled with bubbles and rippling water. The camera then shifted to the outside view. In the deep blue sea, vibrant schools of fish swam leisurely past the car window. Astonishingly, the deep blue Maserati navigated the waters like a high-performing, miniature private submarine, even adjusting its buoyancy to ascend, descend, and hover like a real submarine. Unbelievable. Is this for real? Can it actually drive underwater? I'm completely flabbergasted. How many more surprises does the host have in store for us? From now on, I'll keep Newton's coffin closed. No one will lift it. Yibai smiled with satisfaction as he observed the torrent of ecstatic comments. How do you like the underwater scenery? Su Qingwei glanced at the somewhat monotonous schools of fish outside and shook her head slightly. Not impressive. It's not as beautiful as the private aquarium at home. Yibai chuckled, as expected of a rich heiress. That's because we are still near the shore. Naturally, it's just ordinary fish and rocks. Once we venture deeper into the ocean and reach the true coral sea, I assure you, the scenery will be unforgettable. As he spoke, the wheels, now transformed into propellers, began to spin rapidly. Soon, they arrived at a fantastical, colorful coral sea. Countless exotic, vividly colored corals grew like an underwater forest, while thousands of unnamed, multicolored fish frolicked among the coral. The breathtaking, fairy tale-like scene left the three women inside the car and millions of viewers in the live stream utterly mesmerized. However, at that moment, an unexpected twist occurred. A massive net suddenly surged up from beneath them. In an instant, like a bolt from the blue, they were ensnared within their Maserati, along with an innumerable school of fish. Chapter 219. Deep Sea Submersion, Collision with an Eagle Saw Spy Device. The sudden turn of events enveloped the atmosphere inside the car with tension. Brother, this is bad. It seems we have been mistaken for a big fish by a trawler. Everyone instinctively looked up. Above them, a massive, shadowy silhouette loomed. A large fishing vessel engaged in trawling operations. Even Su Qingyue's typically serene face betrayed a hint of concern. Are we really going to be caught by them? However, in the face of this dire predicament, Yibai remained unfazed at the driver's seat. May I inquire? If I inadvertently damage this net, will I need to compensate for it? What? Su Qingyue was momentarily bewildered by Yibai's words. You can't be thinking of escaping this net, can you? This is a specialized trawl net woven from high-tensile steel wire, designed to catch large fish. Even a several-ton shark couldn't break free. Yet, Yibai merely responded with a mysterious smile. In an instant, the phantom of the sea god erupted with an unprecedented, dazzling electric light. The trident in his hand became enveloped in a visibly intense layer of high-pressure plasma. Break it, Yibai commanded. Accompanied by a series of piercing sounds akin to metal being sliced, the resilient steel mesh succumbed before the trident encased in high-pressure plasma, as if it were mere paper. A colossal gash was swiftly cut into it. Countless trapped fish frantically escaped through the opening. Meanwhile, Yibai piloted the liberated Maserati, gradually ascending towards the ocean's surface. On the deck of the fishing vessel, several burly fishermen, glistening with sweat, struggled to control the winch, laboriously pulling the massive trawl net from the sea. Damn it! Why is this net so heavy today? Could it be we've caught another big one? I reckon so. Yet, just as they envisioned a lucrative catch, the previously heavy net suddenly felt light. Huh, what is going on? Why is it suddenly so easy? Crap, the net's broken. As they peered closely, disbelief washed over them. What the hell is happening? We didn't even catch a shark. How could the net break? Just as they were grappling with this bewilderment, an even stranger sight unfolded. Not far from their fishing boat, a deep blue Maserati, strikingly stylish, emerged slowly from beneath the sea. Heavens! Have the fish evolved into this form now? Illusion. This must be an illusion. I must be dreaming. At that moment, the passenger window of the Maserati rolled down. Su Qingyue, glancing at the petrified fisherman, sheepishly remarked, "I apologize, gentlemen. Your net accidentally caught us, so we had to cut it." The fisherman, overwhelmed by this revelation, could no longer bear the shock. One elder fisherman, eyes rolling back, collapsed in a faint. "Goddess Ma has manifested. Gentlemen, do not be afraid," Su Qingyue said, noticing the fisherman who fainted from her words. She retrieved a business card from her bag and handed it over. "We will compensate for your net's damage. You can take this card to our legal department at Su Corporation, and they will handle it." The remaining fishermen stared at the opulent gold card, then at the miraculous car that had risen from the depths, and they were terrified, shaking their heads. No, please. As long as you spare our lives, we would be eternally grateful. We can replace the net ourselves. Ha, this is hilarious. That fisherman probably has never seen such grandeur in his life. Not just him. Honestly, if we hadn't witnessed the host modify this car ourselves, we would also be in awe of this scene. After resolving this minor incident, Yi Bai and his companions once again submerged into the deep sea. All right, dear viewers, we have just tested the submersible capabilities of this vehicle. Next, we shall test its maximum endurance range. With that, Yi Bai steered the Maserati deeper into the vast ocean. Outside the window, the vibrant coral reefs were replaced by the pitch-black depths of the ocean. Just as they cautiously navigated through a rugged underwater rocky area, an unexpected event occurred. Bang! A dull thud resonated from the front of the car. The entire vehicle jolted violently. What happened? Su Qingyue was startled by the sudden impact. Did we hit something? Peering through the window, she spotted a black, spindle-shaped metallic object, resembling a torpedo, quietly suspended before them. Su Qingyue's heart raced. Could this be a torpedo launched by some nation's submarine? Have we inadvertently intruded into a secret military exercise zone? What the hell is that? Is it really a torpedo? Host, run. If we collide with a military exercise, it won't be a joke. While watching the host show off is exhilarating, we must abide by the law. We must not engage in actions that jeopardize national security. However, Yi Bai did not flee as everyone anticipated. Instead, he slowly maneuvered the car closer to the black object and initiated a scan with the system. Ding! Unknown device detected. Device name, M18 Kingfish Unmanned Underwater Vehicle. Country of origin, Eagle Sauce. Device function, equipped with a high-precision sonar detection system for mapping underwater terrain and collecting underwater acoustic signatures. An unmanned underwater vehicle from Eagle Sauce. And it's on a spy mission. If we retrieve it and hand it over to the authorities, surely we would receive a substantial reward. Everyone, remain calm. I believe this is not a torpedo. It is likely a spying device secretly deployed by a hostile nation within our territorial waters. Regardless of what it is, we will hand it over to the authorities. Just as he finished speaking, his phone suddenly rang. The call from the authorities was coming in. Chapter 220. From criminal to lawful in a second. Hello. Am I speaking to the owner of the Maserati with the license plate number YUEB666888? Yes, that's me. What seems to be the issue? Yi Bai feigned ignorance. This is the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau. We now order you to immediately return your vehicle to the shore. At once. Do you realize that your actions are in severe violation of our national laws and regulations? No vehicle or vessel may venture into the sea without the approval of the Maritime Authority. Moreover, your vehicle is suspected of serious illegal modifications. It is exceedingly dangerous to recklessly drive it into the ocean. However, upon hearing this stern reprimand, Yi Bai chose to remain unresponsive. But officer, we just apprehended a suspected espionage device from the seabed. What? The officer on the other end of the line was evidently taken aback by Yi Bai's statement. Stop with the nonsense. An espionage device. Do you think this is a movie? Let me tell you. Don't attempt to use such lies to excuse your unlawful actions. I am not lying. How about we add each other on WeChat? I can send you a photo of the device, and you can see for yourself. After a brief moment of silence on the other end, It seemed the officer was weighing the truth of Yi Bai's words. Once they became friends, Yi Bai promptly sent the photo he had taken of the unmanned submersible. A few seconds later, the officer's voice returned. This object does indeed resemble something significant. Wait a moment. I need to report this situation to our superiors immediately. With that, he hurriedly hung up. Just a few minutes later, Yi Bai's phone rang once more. This time, the caller was a different individual. Hello? Is this Comrade Yi Bai? I am the director of the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau. We have just verified through internal channels. The device you discovered is indeed the latest espionage apparatus developed by the Eagle Country for underwater reconnaissance. We will immediately dispatch a Coast Guard vessel to your location to investigate. Please provide us with your precise coordinates. Yi Bai swiftly relayed his latitude and longitude. Great. Our team is on their way. The director's voice was filled with excitement. Comrade Yi Bai, listen carefully. You need not fear. Your actions are neither illegal modifications nor reckless ventures into the sea. You are conducting a courageous and astute counter-espionage operation under the special authorization and approval of our Shenzhen Public Security Bureau. This transformation is too swift. From one extreme to another. In a split second, it went from dire consequences to promising prospects. Yi Bai is amazing. Not only will he avoid legal repercussions, but he will also be rewarded for his contributions. Meanwhile, in another dark expanse of the sea, 3 agents with blonde hair and blue eyes, along with a black operative, swiftly swam to the surface after completing the installation and deployment of the unmanned submersible. One of the agents, appearing to be the team leader, produced a specialized waterproof signal receiver to check the signals received from the recently deployed espionage device. However, he soon noticed something amiss. Amid the usual chaotic background noise of the ocean, there was an anomalous frequency, exhibiting a peculiar and rhythmic signal. Boss, look, there's a very strange signal here. The other agents immediately perked up. Could this be the legendary voice print signal of the new stealth submarine developed by the Dragon Country? Immediately, report this to the intelligence agency. Have them conduct an urgent investigation and analysis of this signal. The blonde team leader decisively issued the command. At the headquarters of the Eagle Country's intelligence agency, the mysterious voice print signal transmitted from the depths of Dragon Country's territorial waters immediately garnered the utmost attention from the higher-ups. The director of the intelligence agency ordered a gathering of 200 Smith agents to engage in round-the-clock analysis and decoding of this signal. Yet, they still yielded no results. Just when everyone was on the verge of giving up, an agent from an outsourcing company far away in the third country unexpectedly sent an email. The content was simple, containing only one sentence. Report, sir. According to our database comparison analysis, this mysterious signal has a 99 probability of originating from a Maserati. When this absurdly ridiculous investigative result was presented to the 4 agents still lurking in the territorial waters of Dragon Country, they were all left dumbfounded. A Maserati? Are you kidding me? Damn it. I knew it. These damned outsourcing companies are utterly unreliable. How could a Maserati possibly end up in the ocean? Especially in the heavily guarded territorial waters of Dragon Country. Ridiculous. However, while he was still ranting about the unreliability of the outsourcing company, the black operative suddenly discovered an even more astonishing situation. Boss, this is bad. The sonar detection device we deployed seems to have been shut down. The signal has completely cut off. What? The remaining agents were all taken aback. What is happening? Is the device malfunctioning? Or have the Dragon Country's forces discovered us? A sense of foreboding enveloped all their hearts. Boss, we should retreat quickly, regardless of the situation. We must ensure our own safety first. Are we just going to leave like this? Wouldn't that mean our mission has utterly failed? The team leader coldly responded to the black operative. James, your courage is too feeble. I believe we should immediately return to investigate what has transpired. Then report the specifics to headquarters. The alluring blonde female operative concurred. Exactly. Retreating in disgrace is utterly shameful. I refuse to be the laughingstock of the CIA. The remaining white operative also expressed agreement. James could only sigh helplessly. Meanwhile, on Yi Bai's end, he had already maneuvered the Maserati to the surface. In the distance, a white Coast Guard vessel emblazoned with the words Dragon Country Coast Guard was swiftly approaching them. The fully armed Coast Guard officers were astonished to see the Maserati quietly floating on the water. My goodness. Has technology advanced to such a degree that cars can actually drive in the sea? Look, there's something resembling a torpedo being towed alongside that car. As they drew nearer and took a closer look, they collectively gasped in shock. It was indeed an espionage device from the Eagle Country. Chapter 221. Forcing you into the sea, capturing 4 Eagle Country agents? Upon confirming the true identity of the unidentified object, the atmosphere aboard the Coast Guard vessel shifted to one of utmost seriousness and tension. Several seasoned Coast Guard officers promptly boarded a rubber boat and cautiously approached the Maserati. Using professional tools, they successfully retrieved the submersible that was still being towed behind the car. The leading Coast Guard captain saluted Yi Bai with a standard military gesture and, in an excited tone, said, "Comrade Yi Bai, on behalf of our Shenzhen Coast Guard team, I extend our sincerest gratitude. You have accomplished a significant feat. Our director has stated he wishes to personally meet with you, and according to regulations, the state will undoubtedly grant you corresponding material rewards and spiritual recognition." Yi Bai accepted graciously. This is what we should do as citizens of the Dragon Country. He then drove the Maserati alongside the Coast Guard vessel as they made their way back to shore. During the return journey, the young Coast Guard officers could not contain their curiosity and gathered around. My heavens, has the Maserati truly reached such remarkable heights? Not only can it venture into the sea, but it can also apprehend spies. If I were to possess one, I would no longer need a patrol boat. I could simply use it for patrolling. Seated in the front passenger seat, Su Qinghua listened to the envious remarks around her, a hint of pride illuminating her otherwise cool features. It is not the Maserati that is impressive, it is the masterful modifications made to this vehicle. With that thought, she glanced at the composed Yi Bai beside her, who happens to be the foremost modification expert in all of Longhua. In the back seat, Sun Ling puffed out her chest, equally proud as she showcased their achievements to the envious maritime police officers. If you had been following the news and live broadcasts, you would know that the firefighting helicopter capable of launching extinguishing projectiles, along with the fire rocket launcher that can douse flames engulfing multi-story buildings, were both crafted by my boss. What? Those devices were all your creation? The young maritime police officers erupted with excitement at Sun Ling's revelation. Beneath the waves, four agents from the United States cautiously returned to the area where they had previously deployed their espionage device. However, they were left utterly astonished by the sight that greeted them. Before them, on the shimmering surface of the sea, a Longhua maritime police vessel was escorting a deep blue Maserati as it glided toward the shore. Oh my goodness, is that really a Maserati traversing the ocean? The blonde captain, witnessing this scene that shattered his understanding of over 2 decades in the field, felt his worldview teetering on the brink of collapse. It truly is a Maserati. Were those outsourcing claims accurate? When did Longhua acquire such technology? This is absurd. Damn it. We must immediately report this highly confidential intelligence, more crucial than the new silent submarines Longhua possesses, to headquarters. He resolutely decided to lead his team in a hasty retreat. If he could deliver this news, a substantial bonus would surely follow. Yet, at that moment, an unforeseen calamity struck. A massive school of sardines, comprising thousands of fish, surged towards them. The 4 agents barely had time to react before being swept away by the overwhelming force of the fish swarm. By the time they finally extricated themselves from the chaotic mass, they were horrified to discover that their oxygen tanks had been ripped away by the tremendous impact. To make matters worse, their bodies became ensnared in the abandoned fishing nets tangled around the rocks. They were trapped. The frigid, despairing seawater pressed mercilessly against them from all sides. Agent James felt as though his lungs were on the verge of bursting under the immense water pressure. He struggled desperately to free himself from the binding nets, but all efforts proved futile. His complexion turned increasingly green and purple from the lack of oxygen. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Ultimately, after several minutes of agonizing struggle, these 4 elite agents from the CIA, trained for such scenarios, met an untimely demise at the bottom of this foreign sea. Above the surface, Yi Bai found himself surrounded by a group of enthusiastic maritime police officers. While he reluctantly signed autographs for his suddenly adoring fans, he shook his head in bemusement. It felt akin to being a star who had just finished a concert, besieged by fans seeking signatures. At that moment, his peripheral vision caught sight of several dark objects floating on the water's surface. Upon closer inspection, his brow furrowed in concern. They were corpses. Moreover, judging by their blonde hair, blue eyes, and fair skin, they were unmistakably foreigners. Even more peculiar was the fact that they were clad in a complete set of professional black diving gear. Sun Ling let out a piercing scream upon seeing the ghastly floating bodies, instinctively seeking refuge in Yi Bai's embrace, trembling uncontrollably. Su Qinghua, though braver, furrowed her brow at the sight but managed to remain composed, rationally analyzing the situation. It seemed they had encountered the earlier overwhelming school of fish, resulting in a malfunction of their oxygen equipment amidst the chaos, ultimately leading to their tragic drowning. Just then, The usually quiet Zhang Hongying pointed at a peculiar device on one of the floating bodies and quietly remarked, "Brother, look. Those devices they are wearing seem to be communication equipment. I've seen similar ones in spy films we watched back in school. Typically, only agents use such specialized underwater communication devices." What? Agents? The revelation struck everyone like a thunderclap, igniting a startling and audacious hypothesis. Could it be that these unfortunate souls were indeed the agents responsible for deploying the espionage device beneath the sea? Chapter 222, Taking on New Business, Modifying Police Trailers. Quick, call the Maritime Police. Yi Bai instantly recognized the gravity of the situation. He shouted towards the nearby maritime vessel. The Maritime Police, alerted, swiftly maneuvered their inflatable boat toward them. As they beheld the corpses clad in professional diving gear, their expressions turned grave. "Captain, look. Their equipment appears highly sophisticated." A young officer pointed at the bodies, identifying the clearly non-civilian diving gear. The commanding maritime police captain, after a thorough examination, decisively issued orders. "Immediately, bring them all up." Several officers dove into the water, retrieving the 4 bodies. To prevent any possibility of feigned unconsciousness, the officers meticulously bound their hands and feet with ropes. The accompanying forensic expert promptly conducted preliminary examinations. The conclusion was grim. The 4 individuals had seawater filling their lungs and throats, with all vital signs extinguished. They were undeniably deceased. However, the microcommunication devices and tracking equipment recovered from them indicated that their identities were anything but ordinary. The maritime police captain looked at Yi Bai with an unprecedented sense of excitement. "Comrade Yi Bai, you may have just uncovered a monumental case." He was 90% certain that these unfortunate victims were indeed the agents who had deployed the espionage device beneath the sea. Meanwhile, the millions of viewers in the live stream erupted with fervor upon hearing the captain's proclamation. "Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Host, you are truly remarkable. You went into the sea, not only retrieving a spy device, but also inadvertently capturing 4, now deceased, agents. Incredible. Absolutely astounding. From this day forth, you are my sole anti-espionage hero." Yi Bai could hardly believe his fortune today. What began as a simple live stream to test his new vehicle turned into an unexpected stroke of luck, akin to receiving a windfall from the heavens. Soon after, he and his companions returned to the shore under the escort of the Coast Guard. At the dock, the director of the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau, along with a host of officials, awaited their arrival. They held a modest ceremony to honor Yi Bai, bestowing upon him the prestigious title of Honorary Citizen of Shenzhen, along with a generous cash reward of 500,000 yuan. After receiving the accolades, Su Qinghua finally had the chance to drive home in her long-desired amphibious vehicle. Before entering the car, she promptly transferred 10 million yuan to Yi Bai for modifications. The notification on his phone signaled an 8-digit sum had been added to his bank account. Filled with excitement, Su Qinghua gazed at her striking, futuristic vehicle. Nearly bubbling over with joy, she waved goodbye to Yi Bai and sped off to share the news with her friends. Once Su Qinghua departed, Yi Bai prepared to head home with Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying. Just then, Director Li Min, who had just awarded him the honorary title, approached him with a friendly demeanor. "Comrade Yi Bai, may I have a word?" "Is there something else, Director Li?" Yi Bai inquired with curiosity. Li Min's face broke into an eager smile. "After seeing your incredible amphibious Maserati, I was truly inspired. Your expertise in vehicle modifications is remarkable. I would like to place an order on behalf of the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau." "Oh," Yi Bai perked up. "What vehicle do you wish to modify, Director Li?" With a slight sigh, Li Min explained, "Regrettably, we have a police tow truck that was damaged during a recent operation and has been collecting dust in our storage. I was hoping you could assist us in modifying it." Yi Bai nodded, but he adhered to his usual protocol. "Modifying it is certainly possible, but my fees are quite substantial." Li Min waved his hand dismissively. "Money is not an issue. Shenzhen is not short of funds." "Very well," Yi Bai replied, promptly quoting his price. "The modification fee is 15 million yuan. I assure you, you will be utterly satisfied. Of course, you may specify your requirements. What would you like the vehicle to be transformed into?" 15 million. Li Min was momentarily taken aback. Although he had conducted thorough research and was aware of Yi Bai's high-quality modifications, the price for a long-defunct tow truck still stung his wallet. Yet, recalling Yi Bai's past extraordinary creations, he gritted his teeth and decided to take the plunge. "Comrade Yi Bai, since you have offered, I will boldly share my requirements. As you know, Shenzhen is a bustling international metropolis with a high volume of vehicles. Our traffic management is stringent, yet many drivers still park indiscriminately. particularly in the narrow streets of the older districts, causing significant congestion. When we dispatch the tow truck to address these violations, its size often exacerbates the traffic delays. Therefore, I hope you can modify our tow truck into a more portable version. Yi-Bai considered the request thoughtfully, nodding. A portable tow truck? That's an intriguing idea. This request is quite manageable for me. Here's the plan. Have the vehicle transported to Huadu, and you can inspect it in 3 days. Agreed. Li Min was elated by Yi-Bai's prompt acceptance and immediately arranged for a deposit of 450,000 yuan to be transferred. After finalizing this new order with Director Li, Yi-Bai and his companions set off for Huadu. As soon as he stepped out of the vehicle, his phone chimed with a message from a user named Water Peach. I've arrived. I'm waiting for you at the entrance of your Yunxiao auto repair shop. And remember, you're coming alone. No bringing those 2 beautiful assistants. Yi-Bai chuckled at the message, realizing that his #1 fan was quite eager to meet him. He turned to Sun Ling and Zhang Hongying, saying, you 2 should explore the nearby mall. Buy whatever you like. I'll cover the expenses. I need to meet a friend. With that, Yi-Bai headed alone to the Yunxiao auto repair shop. Upon arriving, he was taken aback by the sight before him. Standing at the entrance was a stunning figure, seemingly stepped out of an anime. A breathtaking beauty in exquisite, meticulously crafted Medusa cosplay. The purple gown accentuated her alluring figure, radiating an air of regal charm, complemented by her breathtakingly beautiful face. Yi-Bai found himself momentarily speechless, his throat dry. Are you Water Peach? Who else would I be? The Medusa cosplayer smiled, her lips curling into a teasing laugh. I didn't expect you to wear a cosplay outfit for our meeting. Yi-Bai scratched his head, feeling a bit bashful. This is a surprise I prepared just for you. Water Peach winked, her enchanting eyes sparkling. I knew you would appreciate this. Yi-Bai, feeling a mix of embarrassment and amusement, forced his gaze away from her striking curves and attempted to change the subject. Didn't you say you were on a business trip to Huadu? Indeed, Water Peach replied nonchalantly. I'm here on business at your Yunxiao auto repair shop. As she spoke, she delicately lifted his chin with her slender fingers, whispering enticingly in his ear, and my purpose this trip is to win you over. Yi-Bai instinctively stepped back, hands raised defensively. I am still a pure boy. Please don't do anything reckless. Water Peach giggled at his adorably flustered expression. Oh, come on now. What are you thinking? I am here to discuss a collaboration with you. My family has taken a keen interest in your remarkable ability to transform vehicles, akin to turning stone into gold, which is why they have sent me to negotiate a partnership worth billions. Collaboration? Yi-Bai's curiosity was piqued. May I inquire which family you represent? Our family is in the automotive industry, specifically a recently popular electric vehicle manufacturer. Yi-Bai was taken aback. A notable electric vehicle manufacturer? Could it be the Demi Group, which just announced its foray into the automotive sector? However, the ensuing words from Shui Mitao nearly made him choke with laughter. Our family produces the Wuling Hongguang. Wuling Hongguang. Yi-Bai could no longer contain himself. He gazed at the exquisite and alluring Medusa-like figure before him, and juxtaposed that image with the rustic charm of the Wuling Hongguang. Feeling that the incongruity was simply too stark, that rather unrefined vehicle hardly aligns with your peach-like elegance. Oh, you misunderstand, Shui Mitao said playfully, casting him a mock glare. I have just taken over our family's Wuling Hongguang mini business. Each day, I look at those dismal sales reports, and it nearly drives me to despair. I have pondered for quite some time, and ultimately concluded that seeking a partnership with you is undoubtedly the right move. Yi-Bai nodded in agreement. Collaboration is certainly possible. However, we must thoroughly discuss the specifics of the contract and the collaboration methods, don't you think? Yet. Shui Mitao waved her hand dismissively. Oh, those tedious matters are for you to handle. I am completely on board. Yi-Bai could only smile in disbelief. This was not merely a negotiation. It was clearly a wealthy young lady stepping out to experience life. How about this? You enjoy a few days in Huadu, while I have my team coordinate with your subordinates for the specifics of our discussions. What do you think? Shui Mitao's eyes sparkled with enthusiasm. Yes, that sounds excellent. By the way, Yi-Bai suddenly remembered, I still don't know your name after all this conversation. I am Jiang Chumo. Jiang Chumo? Yi-Bai nodded thoughtfully. I have a friend with the surname Xiong who is also named Chumo. Jiang Chumo paused for a moment before the realization dawned on her. Xiong Chumo. Isn't that from Bears Can't Be Stopped? Oh, you cheeky Yi-Bai. You dare to make a jest at my expense. You must treat me to a meal as penance. Of course. Absolutely. Yi-Bai chuckled at her playful demeanor. He then led Jiang Chumo to a rather unassuming roadside eatery. Jiang Chumo surveyed the greasy tables and the bustling atmosphere, her lovely brows knitting together in dismay. We're eating here? Are the dishes even edible? You'll find out soon enough, Yi-Bai replied with a grin, ordering several signature dishes. Initially, Jiang Chumo maintained her air of defiance as a wealthy heiress. However, when the fragrant skewers and seafood arrived, she could not resist the temptation of the culinary delights. Tentatively, she took a bite, her eyes widening in astonishment. Delicious, truly scrumptious. After their satisfying meal, Jiang Chumo received a call from her subordinate, who reported that the preliminary details of their collaboration had been established, and they could proceed to a formal discussion the following day. After bidding farewell to Jiang Chumo, Yibai returned to the Yunxiao auto repair shop, only to find a police tow truck quietly stationed in the center of the workshop. Chapter 224. Wealth is not to be spent recklessly. After finalizing the order with Director Li Min, Yibai focused entirely on the modification plan for the police tow truck. Beep. Command received. Executing plan simulation. Simulation complete. Universal Ant Multifunctional Urban Rescue Platform. This plan is estimated to require a shock value of 12 million. The first core module is a superconducting electromagnetic winch array valued at 5 million shock value. This system discards traditional hydraulic or mechanical drives, utilizing a set of retractable superconducting electromagnets. When needed, it can launch high-strength nanofiber cables, generating pull through a powerful electromagnetic force field. Its theoretical peak towing capacity exceeds 1,000 tons. Not only can it effortlessly tow a misparked car, but it can also drag an entire derailed subway train as if it were a mere toy. The second module is the Eagle Eye Holographic Reconnaissance Subdrone System, valued at 4 million shock value. This system features a silent drone that can be launched from the tow truck's body, equipped with the most advanced laser penetration scanner. Its specialized laser beams can penetrate most non-metallic building walls and water, constructing real-time three-dimensional holographic images of the interior. Whether tracking criminals concealed in abandoned buildings or searching for submerged vehicles, it will be a breeze. The third module is a high-torque all-terrain power system valued at 3 million shock value. This comprises 4 independent wheels, each housing a high-power hub motor. This power system not only allows the tow truck to accelerate akin to a sports car, but also enables it to perform complex maneuvers like pivoting in narrow alleys and lateral movements with ease, showcasing formidable agility. Yibai did not place an immediate order. System. Activate the Combat Simulation Sandbox function, loading Universal Ant Multifunctional Urban Rescue Platform data model. Simulation scene. Los Santos. Beep. Sandbox function initializing. Data loading complete. Scene generated. Let us test the power. Yibai thought, pressing down on the virtual accelerator. A surge of electricity coursed through the 4 hub motors, and with a slight electromagnetic hum, the truck shot forward, weaving skillfully through traffic, executing sharp cornering without slowing down, and effortlessly drifting through turns. Next, he arrived at a simulated landslide accident scene where half of a 10-story building had collapsed, trapping a heavily loaded truck beneath the rubble. Engage the superconducting electromagnetic winch. Several nanofiber cables, crackling with blue arcs, shot out from the vehicle and firmly adhered to the debris and truck. Yibai gradually increased the power, and to his astonishment, the hundreds of tons of reinforced concrete debris was genuinely being dragged away. Now let us try the Eagle Eye. He parked outside a bank building and launched the drone. The real-time footage relayed by the drone revealed the entire internal structure of the building, the distribution of personnel, and even the stacks of gold bars in the vault were clearly visible. Then, he drove to the seaside, where the drone submerged underwater, clearly scanning the wreckage of a yacht that had sunk years ago. Perfect. Exiting the sandbox, Yibai savored the experience, finding it exhilarating. However, he understood that this was merely a theoretical ideal. Everything in the simulation was based on the most optimal craftsmanship and materials. In reality, constrained by current industrial capabilities, there would inevitably be imperfections. The performance would likely only reach about 80% of the simulation, if not less. Yibai shook his head slightly. Once the advanced technological factory in the imperial capital is completed, equipped with a system-certified precision production line, I shall be able to create a flawless masterpiece with a performance rating of 100 by my own hands, all while significantly reducing costs. Although there is a tinge of regret, the current performance level of 80 is sufficient to challenge everyone's perceptions. Without further hesitation, I issued the final command to the system, confirm the modification plan. After concluding this matter, Yibai habitually checked the progress on the research and development list. Time remaining for the development of the new firefighting combat suit. 3 days, 0 hours, 00 minutes. Inside the office of the director of the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau. A gentle knock sounded at the door. The mayor's secretary, Zhang Jianya, entered. Director Li, are you busy? Zhang Jianya's tone was courteous, but Director Li Min detected an unusual undertone. Secretary Zhang, Please, take a seat. What brings you here? Instead of sitting, Zhang Jianye walked straight to the desk, gently placing a document on it, sliding it toward Li Min. The document's title boldly read, Budget Approval Report for the Procurement Project of Police Special Vehicles. Director Li, I am here to discuss the modification fee of 15 million. 15 million to commission a little-known auto repair shop in Huadu to modify a scrap trailer. Don't you think that's a bit extravagant? Li Min felt a weight in his heart, realizing that this matter had indeed caught the attention of the city government. Secretary Zhang, I reported this matter to you. Although the Yinshao Auto Repair Shop is small, their technical capabilities are exceptional. I believe there is a reason for the expense. A reason? It's just a trailer. What profound justification could there be? With 15 million, we could order 30 top-of-the-line police trailers from Yutong. 30. Director Li, do you know how many issues that could resolve? Moreover, Yutong is a large state-owned enterprise in our dragon country. By awarding them the project, we could create numerous employment opportunities and stimulate significant industrial value. Now you want to invest such a large sum in an obscure little factory? If the mayor inquires, how shall I report this? How will you justify it? Li Min's brow furrowed tightly. Secretary Zhang, as it stands, the modification contract has already been signed, and a deposit of 450,000 has been transferred. It is too late to backtrack now. That is not why I am here today. Zhang Jianye appeared to anticipate this response. The city meteorological station has just issued the latest weather warning. A super typhoon is expected to make landfall in Shenzhen in 3 days, with wind speeds potentially reaching level 16. The city has initiated a level 1 emergency response, and disaster prevention and clearance are of utmost importance. Director Li, do you think we can rely on that little factory at such a critical moment? What if they cannot deliver or their product proves ineffective? Who will bear the responsibility? Li Min fell silent. The unpredictability of the typhoon was indeed unforeseen. Observing Li Min's expression, Zhang Jianye retrieved another document from his briefcase and placed it on the desk. This is an emergency fund of 3 million, specially approved by the mayor. The city's directive is for you to immediately visit the Shenzhen branch of Yutong, using this money to procure 9 of their most advanced heavy-duty recovery trailers as a contingency for the typhoon. This proposition, disguised as a discussion, was in fact an order. Understood, Li Min finally nodded, accepting the document. After seeing Zhang Jianye off, Li Min attempted to contact Yi Bai immediately. Unfortunately, his calls went unanswered despite multiple attempts. Resigned, he made his way to Yutong. Half an hour later, Li Min's official vehicle slowly entered the Yutong Shenzhen branch premises. The branch's general manager, Zhang Defa, had been waiting at the entrance. Upon seeing Li Min exit the vehicle, he eagerly approached, warmly shaking Li Min's hand. Ah, Director Li, your personal visit truly honors Yutong. Please, come in. The air conditioning has been prepared for you. Once seated in the reception area, Li Min got straight to the point. Hearing of the urgent procurement of 9 heavy-duty recovery trailers, Zhang Defa's face lit up with enthusiasm, confidently assuring, Director Li, you have come to the right place. When it comes to trailers, we at Yutong are absolutely professional. Rest assured, we have stock ready, not just 9, but even 19 trailers. All of the most mature technology and strongest power. After some mutual flattery, Zhang Defa casually shifted the conversation. By the way, Director Li, I heard from friends in the circle that you recently undertook a major project, spending 15 million to engage a little-known auto repair shop for trailer modifications. Li Min paused, the teacup in his hand momentarily halting, internally acknowledging how quickly news travels. Observing Li Min's expression, Zhang Defa smirked and leaned forward, lowering his voice. Director Li, as old friends, I must speak candidly. This isn't how one goes about gifting money. 15 million, even if it were your future son-in-law's factory. You need to consider its viability, right? If they lack solid capabilities and rely solely on connections, it could lead to embarrassment when the product fails to meet expectations. Li Min's expression darkened as he slammed the teacup onto the table with a dull thud. Mr. Zhang, you misunderstand. The owner of Yinshao Auto Repair Shop is no relative of mine. I entrusted the project to him because I have personally witnessed his formidable modification skills. He is certainly not a name without merit. Formidable? Zhang Defa scoffed, as if he had heard the greatest joke. Director Li, please don't take offense. But our Yutong is a publicly listed corporation valued in the billions, employing hundreds of top engineers and researchers. Our annual R&D expenditure is measured in the hundreds of millions. I find it hard to believe that we can't compete with a little-known shop in Huadu. Li Min sighed, not wanting to prolong the debate on this matter. However, Zhang Defa was relentless. Director Li, since you hold that little shop in such high esteem, why not tell me when their modifications will be completed? I am genuinely curious to see what kind of divine vehicle is worth 15 million. We can then compare it with our flagship products to determine its true value. Li Min felt a headache coming on from Zhang Defa's persistence. It should be finished in a few days. I am not entirely sure. I will inquire and let you know. Just then, his phone rang. It was Yi Bai's call. Speak of the devil, Li Min muttered, promptly answering and activating the speakerphone. Hello, Director Li. I was busy earlier and missed your call. What can I do for you? Yi Bai's voice came through. Li Min glanced at Zhang Defa, who was listening intently. Comrade Yi Bai, I have with me Mr. Zhang Defa from Yutong. He heard that I entrusted the project to you and wishes to compare your modified trailer with his. There was a brief silence on the other end, followed by Yi Bai's voice tinged with amusement. A comparison? That sounds interesting. But merely comparing isn't sufficient. Is there any incentive? Incentive? Li Min felt overwhelmed at the notion. This is absurd. I am the public security director. How can I allow such gambling-like activities under my watch? However, before he could finish, Zhang Defa burst into laughter at Yi Bai's audacious suggestion. Young brother, you speak with quite the bravado. I admire your spirit. You seek a wager? Very well, I shall oblige. If your vehicle triumphs over any of our esteemed Yutong products in a towing-related contest, I will unhesitatingly present you with a state-of-the-art German CNC machine and robotic arm, valued at 3 million, recently acquired by our group. Consider it an upgrade for your humble workshop. How does that sound? Zhang Defa believed he was assured of victory, envisioning the humiliation of this audacious young man while simultaneously showcasing his prowess before Director Li, a double victory. On the other end, Yi Bai was delighted upon hearing this. It's settled then. Mr. Zhang, your generosity is commendable. I accept your challenge. Zhang Defa was momentarily taken aback by Yi Bai's eagerness. Was this young man truly naive or merely pretending? Did he genuinely believe that the products of his small workshop could rival the industrial marvels of a listed conglomerate? Well, you certainly have spirit, Zhang Defa thought, smirking. Young man, I hope your capabilities match your bravado, for in the realm of towing, Yutong reigns supreme. 3 days elapsed swiftly. Within the Yunxiao Auto Repair Factory, as the final component was meticulously installed, the once-defunct trailer underwent a remarkable transformation. Yi Bai clapped his hands in satisfaction, his thoughts racing. Ding. Modification project completed. Reward, 5 free attribute points. Ding. Cumulative modification projects completed. System upgrade progress, 610. A series of delightful notifications echoed in his mind. Without hesitation, he accessed his personal attribute panel and allocated all 5 newly acquired points to intelligence. Instantly, a refreshing sensation surged through his mind, as if the world around him had sharpened into focus. Details that had previously required deep contemplation now appeared crystal clear. Reflecting on his conversation with Zhang Defa 3 days prior, he had initially been perplexed as to why a CEO of a prominent listed group would seek conflict with someone from a modest workshop. But now, with a mere thought, the essence of the situation was unveiled. Yutong maintained a long-standing partnership with the Shenzhen Stock Exchange, and his emergence had effectively carved a substantial piece, a 15 million slice, from their pie. Zhang Defa's provocation was aimed at asserting Yutong's value before Li Min, intending to squash this outsider to solidify their future procurement standing. Nonetheless, despite this realization, Yi Bai felt no pressure. Competition? It was the last thing he feared. The philosophy of Yunxiao Auto Repair Factory had always been to treat every challenger with equality. Chapter 226. Not yet together, and already elbowing outwards? Yi Bai stretched lazily and stepped out of the workshop, eager to breathe in the fresh air. Just outside, he spotted Sun Ling, elegantly holding a cup of coffee, seemingly waiting for him. Dressed in a sharp OL ensemble that accentuated her figure, she greeted him with a smile. Boss, you've finally emerged. You've been holed up in the workshop for days. Almost a machine. Yi Bai accepted the coffee and took a sip, inquiring, what is on your mind? You seem troubled. Sun Ling sighed softly, her brows knitting together. It's about that peach-like girl. She claimed she would represent her company to discuss cooperation. But it's been several days since our meeting, and we've heard nothing. No follow-up, no one to discuss the contract details. It feels rather uncertain. Hearing this, Yi Bai too felt a sense of curiosity. Logically, someone as decisive as Jiang Chumo shouldn't let things drag on for so long. Was there some unforeseen issue within her company? This delay isn't sustainable, he pondered momentarily before resolving. Let us take the initiative and inquire about the situation. Meanwhile, in the presidential suite of the most luxurious hotel in Huadu, Jiang Chumo sat frostily on the sofa. Across from her was her elder brother, Jiang Chuqiang, the heir of Jiang Group. I have made myself abundantly clear, Jiang Chuqiang stated firmly, regarding his typically resolute sister. Though the mini-series is under your management, it remains the Group's asset. I cannot stand idly by while you act recklessly. Jiang Chumo's face flushed with indignation. How am I being reckless? I am merely seeking new technical partners for Mini and exploring new market directions. Is that wrong? Brother, why must you interfere? I am not interfering. I am safeguarding your interests. If you seek technical cooperation, you ought to approach top-tier firms like Dami Group or Dottie Group, Fortune 500 companies. Even if you were to consider a local contender like Yutong, I could accept that. But you chose a mere auto repair shop like Yinxiao? A place without even verifiable business registration? This will tarnish the perception of the mini-series and our potential customer base, making our brand appear cheap and substandard. After investing millions in public relations to build our brand image, are you willing to jeopardize it with this misguided decision? Confronted by her brother's accusations, Jiang Chumo remained steadfast in her beliefs. I have my choices and judgments. Yi Bai's capabilities are beyond your imagination. I cannot watch you leap into a pit of fire. Jiang Chuqiang replied resolutely. Frustration welled within Jiang Chumo. She knew her brother's sudden visit from Jinling was ostensibly for business, but in truth, it was to advocate for his good friend, Zhao Wenxi, from one of the 4 prominent families of Jinling. Her brother had been intent on fostering a union between their 2 families, though he had not said so outright. She could only silently protest in her own way, her displeasure growing. At that moment of stalemate between the siblings, the doorbell rang unexpectedly. Jiang Chumo, as if seizing a lifeline, quickly rose to answer the door. Yi Bai? What brings you here? Upon seeing him, her expression softened instantly. Dressed in a neatly tailored white suit, her long hair elegantly styled, she appeared poised and dignified. We hadn't heard from you, so we were concerned and came to check on things, Yi Bai replied with a smile. Please come in. My brother is here as well. Let me introduce you. We were just about to have dinner. Why not join us? Jiang Chumo warmly ushered them inside, leading Yi Bai to Jiang Chuqiang. Brother, this is Yi Bai, the owner of Yinxiao Auto Repair Factory I mentioned. Yi Bai, this is my brother, Jiang Chuqiang. Jiang Chuqiang's gaze scrutinized Yi Bai from head to toe, noting his casual attire, though not branded. It was tidy and presentable. His appearance was not without charm. Handsome in a way. To Jiang Chuqiang, however, Yi Bai seemed the type who relied on flattery and charm to ensnare his naive sister, a mere charlatan. Despite his disdain, his upbringing prevented him from expressing his contempt openly. When Yi Bai politely extended his hand, Jiang Chuqiang merely nodded coldly, showing no intention of shaking hands, creating an awkward atmosphere. However, Yi Bai remained unfazed, naturally retracting his hand as if nothing had occurred. He turned his attention directly to Jiang Chumo and straightforwardly inquired. Miss Jiang, I have come to discuss our potential collaboration. Are there any concerns you might have? If you find it unsuitable or have changed your mind, please feel free to let me know. It is perfectly all right. Upon hearing this, Jiang Chumo's expression instantly soured. Jiang Chuqiang coldly interjected, taking over the conversation. Mr. Yi, is it? We have conducted an investigation into your Yinxiao Auto Repair Factory, and your capabilities are rather inadequate. The mini-series is a high-end brand with significant value. We cannot risk tarnishing the entire brand's image by partnering with someone lacking in strength. Yi Bai nodded calmly in response. I understand. Collaboration is indeed a mutual choice. Since Mr. Jiang feels we are not a suitable match, we shall not force the matter. I want to collaborate. Jiang Chumo exclaimed urgently, resolutely countering. You. Jiang Chuqiang was rendered speechless by his sister's outburst. Very well. Since you are so insistent, I shall grant you an opportunity, as well as an opportunity for you, Mr. Yi. In a few days, I will personally visit your auto repair factory to ascertain your true capabilities. If you indeed possess the requisite skills, I shall apologize for my previous rashness. However, if you fail to present something substantial, do not blame me, your elder brother, for preventing you from continuing down the wrong path. Yi Bai, do not worry, Jiang Chumo quickly reassured, fearing Yi Bai might feel pressured. The mini-series is under my purview. My brother is merely my brother and does not represent the company's decisions. It's all right. Yi Bai appeared unfazed. Coincidentally, I have a competition scheduled with Yutong Automotive in a few days to see who can modify a trailer more effectively. Since Mr. Jiang has doubts regarding our capabilities, why not join us then? Seeing is believing. Upon hearing this, Jiang Chuqiang's demeanor lightened. Oh, I am quite interested, he replied with a cold smile. I have some matters to attend to at my company, so I will not join you for dinner. With that, he turned and left the private room. Chapter 227. Teaching him how to be a person? A worthy attempt. Jiang Chuqiang exited the hotel suite with a grim expression and spotted Zhao Wenxi waiting in the lobby's seating area. Zhao Wenxi, clad in a tailored Armani suit. Sporting a limited edition Patek Philippe watch and impeccably groomed, emanated an air of affluence. Upon seeing Jiang Chuqiang, he promptly stood and approached. Chuqiang, how did it go? Was your discussion with MOMO smooth? Jiang Chuqiang replied tersely, don't mention it. It's quite troublesome. My sister seems to have lost her senses. Enchanted by some unknown pretty boy. Pretty boy? Zhao Wenqi raised an eyebrow. What happened? Please elaborate. Jiang Chuqiang recounted his sister's intention to collaborate with a certain Yi Bai, as well as the upcoming competition against Yutong, in full detail. After listening, Zhao Wenqi chuckled dismissively. I thought it was something significant. Chuqiang, you are overly concerned about MOMO. He is merely a character who can only talk a good game, not someone to be feared. He continued. Do not forget that my father, Zhao Tai, is the vice mayor of Jinling, and my uncle, Zhao Wujiu, is a brigade commander in the military, stationed in the southern theater near Yerhuadu. Such a family background cannot be compared to that of a powerless pretty boy. As he elegantly lit a cigar, he took a deep drag and exhaled a cloud of smoke, his expression turning somewhat amused. Such people have simply not seen the world and are unaware of their own insignificance. I shall find an opportunity to have a chat with him, to make him realize his true standing. Hearing this, Jiang Chuqiang's frustration dissipated somewhat, and his eyes brightened. Perfect. Why not in a few days? That pretty boy is competing against Yutong, right? We can go together and witness his disgrace. Once he is thoroughly humiliated, we can step in to add insult to injury. Ah, Chuqiang, let's not put it that way. Zhao Wenqi chuckled, shaking his finger. What do you mean by adding insult to injury? How unrefined. We are merely helping him recognize the harsh realities of life. We are teaching him how to be a person. Indeed, teaching him to be a person. The two exchanged knowing glances and burst into hearty laughter, as if they could already foresee Yi Bai's impending humiliation. In the hotel suite, with Jiang Chuqiang's departure, the oppressive atmosphere finally lifted. Jiang Chumo looked at Yi Bai with an apologetic expression and sincerely said, Yi Bai, I am truly sorry. My brother has a particular temperament. He speaks quite bluntly, so please do not take it to heart. It's all right. I understand, Yi Bai replied with a calm smile, not one to be riled by such trivial matters. Observing Yi Bai's composed demeanor, Jiang Chumo felt an even deeper admiration for him. Without hesitation, she retrieved a pre-prepared contract from her Hermes bag and placed it before Yi Bai. This is the draft of our collaboration proposal, she stated. I hope we can work together to launch a co-branded Wuling Hongguang mini model, with the design of both the appearance and core technology led by you. What do you think? Yi Bai glanced over the contract, noting the very favorable terms that clearly indicated the other party's sincerity. He nodded. I have no objections. Wonderful. Jiang Chumo finally sighed in relief, a radiant smile illuminating her face. They signed the contract, officially solidifying their collaboration. After signing, Jiang Chumo looked at Yi Bai with some concern. Yi Bai, I think you should reconsider the competition with Yutong. They are, after all, an industry giant with profound roots. There is no need for you to engage in such rivalry. If you were to lose, it would only provide my brother with another opportunity to mock you. She genuinely wished to prevent Yi Bai from becoming embroiled in such unnecessary conflict because of her. Upon hearing Jiang Chumo's advice, Yi Bai chuckled dismissively. Lose? Why should I even consider that? Besides, the CEO of Yutong personally promised that if I win, he would gift me an entire set of equipment. Such an opportunity is too good to pass up. As he spoke, Yi Bai leaned in closer. And with my modification skills, do you really doubt my ability to outperform them? Jiang Chumo blushed at his sudden closeness. Memories of Yi Bai's remarkable modification works flooding her mind. Each piece was a testament to his ingenuity. I am just worried about you. Your skills are indeed impressive, she stammered. Yi Bai, noticing her flustered demeanor, felt a surge of joy and couldn't help but laugh heartily. Then it settled. Just sit back and enjoy the show. A few days later, in the deep city, the typhoon warning had escalated to the highest level, casting a suffocating atmosphere over the entire city. A uniquely designed black platform vehicle was smoothly cruising along the highway towards Yutong Automotive. This was the multifunctional city rescue platform, the Universal Ant, modified by Yi Bai. Unlike traditional tow trucks with their cumbersome booms and beds, this vehicle was low and sleek, standing out prominently amidst the traffic. Just then, Yi Bai's phone rang. The caller ID displaying Long Hantian. Hello, Commander Long. Is there something you need? Yi Bai answered the call. On the other end of the line, the unmistakable booming voice of Long Hantian resonated. Where have you been, you rascal? I happened to pass through Huadu today and wanted to check on the modifications for the anti-tank vehicle, but your workshop is completely deserted. What is going on? Oh, what a coincidence, Yi Bai explained. I'm currently en route to Shenzhen, having just accepted a job from the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau to deliver a vehicle. To Shenzhen? What a pity, Long Hantian replied, a hint of regret in his tone. Never mind. I happen to have some internal supplementary materials regarding the 99A that I intended to deliver to you in person. Instead, I will have one of my subordinates bring it to you. Please send me your address. Not a problem, Yibai promptly agreed. However, after hanging up, a flicker of anxiety stirred within him. It was evident that Long Hantian was deeply invested in the anti-tank infantry vehicle project, pressing for progress. The issue was that he was still a long way from the required shock value. Nevertheless, he decided that there was no urgency at the moment. He would collect the materials first and allow the quantum computer to analyze and simulate them at its leisure. He needed to navigate the immediate challenges, procure a set of equipment from Yutong, and exploit the various incidents that might arise from the typhoon to amass a considerable amount of shock value. Steeling himself, he glanced at the navigation. The Yutong facility was now just ahead. Meanwhile, within the Southern Theater Command, Long Hantian, having concluded his call, promptly dialed the Operations Command Center. Please check if there are any officers of brigade level or above from our theater currently in Shenzhen. Reporting, Commander. We have identified Colonel Zhao Wujiu, commander of the Special Operations Brigade directly under the Central Theater, currently on leave visiting family in Shenzhen. Zhao Wujiu? Long Hantian recalled the name, recognizing him as a highly capable young officer. Excellent. Connect me to his phone immediately. Seconds later, the call was established. Suddenly receiving a call from the highest commander of the theater left Zhao Wujiu momentarily stunned. Hello, Commander. This is Zhao Wujiu. Comrade Zhao Wujiu. I am assigning you a crucial task. There is an individual named Yi Bai currently at the Yutong vehicle facility in Shenzhen. I possess a top-secret technical document that must be delivered directly to him. Ensure it is flawless. Upon hearing the name Yi Bai, Zhao Wujiu's pupils dilated, and his heart skipped a beat. Yi Bai? The legendary figure. The very individual behind the recent batch of formidable Tiger vehicles recently inducted into their unit, which had dominated internal exercises. The chief designer is none other than Yi Bai. The significance of this mission dawned upon him instantly. Yes, I guarantee the task will be completed. At the entrance of the Yutong facility, Yi Bai parked the Universal Ant at the designated spot and spotted Director Li Min, who had been waiting. However, Li Min appeared somewhat reserved at that moment. Beside him stood a middle-aged man wearing gold-rimmed glasses, exuding an air of sophistication. Comrade Yi Bai, you have finally arrived, Li Min greeted, gesturing towards the middle-aged man. This is Secretary Zhang Jianya, the mayor's secretary. Yi Bai extended his hand politely. Hello, Secretary Zhang. Zhang Jianya merely glanced at him before showing no intention of shaking hands, responding with a slight nod. Yi Bai withdrew his hand without taking offense. There was no need to impose warmth upon someone so indifferent. At that moment, the roar of engines drew near. Zhang Defa, the owner of Yutong, personally drove a magnificent heavy-duty tow truck, followed by a grand convoy of 29 brand-new tow trucks, approaching with an impressive spectacle. Director Li, Secretary Zhang, thank you for your patience, Zhang Defa exclaimed as he leaped from the cab. Behold, this is our gift to the Shenzhen police. A total of 30 vehicles, each the latest model of our Pioneer V series, valued at 500,000 to 600,000 each, equipped with premier power, winches, and booms. Li Min gazed in astonishment at the magnificent sight, turning to Zhang Jianya in disbelief. Secretary Zhang, what is happening? Didn't we only order 9 vehicles? Zhang Jianya wore a satisfied smile, patting Li Min on the shoulder. Director Li, Mr. Zhang is concerned for the traffic safety of Shenzhen and has generously donated an additional 21 tow trucks to support our efforts against the typhoon. Why question his magnanimity instead of expressing gratitude? Realization struck Li Min. What a grand gesture. This was indeed a monumental contribution, worth at least 10 to 20 million in cash. He couldn't help but admire Zhang Jianya's adeptness at securing such substantial sponsorship for the city. Understanding this, Li Min quickly donned a warm smile, hastening towards Zhang Defa, grasping his hand tightly. Mr. Zhang, thank you immensely. On behalf of the Shenzhen Public Security Bureau and the entire city, I express our gratitude for your generosity. You have truly alleviated a monumental challenge for us. In an instant, all eyes and expressions of gratitude converged upon Zhang Defa and Zhang Jianya, creating a fervent atmosphere. After the enthusiastic expressions of thanks, the attention finally shifted to Yi Bai and his Universal Ant, as Zhang Jianya and Zhang Defa approached to scrutinize the legendary vehicle rumored to be worth 15 million. Their expressions turned peculiar. To them, the vehicle appeared remarkably rudimentary. It lacked the imposing front end of a traditional tow truck and the intricate hydraulic booms and winch systems. It was merely a dark, flat platform adorned with unintelligible patterns. The design was entirely at odds with the aesthetic principles of modern industrial fluid dynamics. Is this it? Its size is hardly larger than my Pioneer, and it's even somewhat smaller, Zhang Jianye remarked. Directorly, forgive my candor, but for a vehicle priced at 15 million, it surely must be inflated with unseen luxury features. Zhang Defa scoffed inwardly. Even if this vehicle's individual performance were truly extraordinary, what of it? He had an entire legion of 30 top-tier tow trucks at his disposal. In the face of such overwhelming numbers, the significance of any singular vehicle diminished to insignificance. At that moment, several luxury sedans slowly entered the facility and parked nearby. Jiang Chumo, Jiang Chuqiang, and Zhao Wenqi alighted from the vehicles. Ah, Mr. Zhang. It's been a while. Hope all is well. Jiang Chuqiang greeted with a broad smile from a distance. Upon seeing Jiang Chuqiang, Zhang Defa immediately donned a more enthusiastic expression, hastening to greet him. Ah, it's young Master Jiang and young Master Zhao. What a rare visit. What brings you two here? We're here to learn from our competitors' advanced experiences, Jiang Chuqiang replied diplomatically. Also, we wanted to see the collaboration partner that MOMO is discussing. After exchanging pleasantries, Jiang Chuqiang's gaze fell upon the two opposing parties, and he inquired knowingly. I heard their essay contest happening here today. We're just here to witness the excitement. I trust we're not intruding? Not at all. Of course. You're not intruding. Zhang Defa exclaimed, his spirits lifted. We warmly welcome young Master Jiang and young Master Zhao as witnesses. Zhang Jianye also stepped forward at the opportune moment. Esteemed entrepreneurs, today's competition serves merely as a delightful interlude. After we conclude, I have arranged for us to convene in the reception lounge of the Shenzhen market, where we can sit together, enjoy some tea, and engage in profound discussions regarding potential collaborations. Absolutely no problem. I will certainly attend, Zhang Defa promptly declared. Boss Yi, since everyone is present, let us not squander any more time. Let the competition commence. Yi Bai calmly nodded in agreement, refraining from further elaboration, and discreetly took out his phone to initiate a live broadcast. Here it comes. The host has finally begun the stream. What is the spectacle of those 30 enormous trucks? I can't believe it. Are we about to witness a showdown? Has the host transformed into a transformer today? Front row selling sunflower seeds, peanuts, and mineral water, eagerly awaiting the host to once again redefine our worldview. Chapter 229. The remarkable cost performance of Yutong Automotive upon seeing Yi Bai activate the live stream. Secretary Zhang Jianye furrowed his brow. Why initiate a live broadcast? This is merely my personal custom, Yi Bai replied nonchalantly. I wish for a broader audience to witness my work, while simultaneously increasing my visibility. Haha, so you seek to enhance your popularity. Zhang Defa laughed heartily at this notion. If you desire a larger audience, I see no harm in that. What is the name of your account? I shall send you 10 carnivals to bolster your spirits and allow more netizens to witness what true professional towing looks like. Yi Bai chuckled at the remark. It was evident that the other party merely wished to see him humiliated before a larger audience. But with someone voluntarily offering support and visibility, why not accept? Thank you, Mr. Zhang, he replied, providing his live stream ID. Soon, Yi Bai's live stream was adorned with 10 dazzling super carnival effects. With the addition of these top-tier gifts, the viewer count skyrocketed like a rocket, effortlessly surpassing 30,000 and continuing to rise. Observing the ever-increasing numbers, Zhang Defa's face broke into a satisfied smile. In his view, this was entirely the result of his financial contributions. Everything was well within his control. However, amidst the crowd, Zhao Wenqi's eyes flickered with surprise. He owned a media company himself and understood the value of online traffic in today's world. For female streamers, even those pushing the boundaries close to bands, achieving over 10,000 concurrent viewers was a mark of a top-tier host. Yet, this Yi Bai, having just begun his stream, managed to exceed 30,000 views instantly with the aid of 10 carnivals, indicating he possessed a commendable fan base and audience engagement. There might be something more here. Zhao Wenqi mused inwardly. Yet, the thought was fleeting. After all, internet celebrities were still just that, mere products of traffic monetization, not comparable to those who wield substantial industries and networks like capitalists. Now that our audience is assembled, let us begin. The first event of the competition is straightforward, testing the fundamental performance of the vehicles. To ensure fairness, I, an outsider, shall personally drive and experience it. Is there any objection among you? Naturally, no one voiced dissent. Let us commence with the Yutong Explorer V. Zhang Jianye announced as he settled into the driver's seat of a pristine Explorer V. The spacious cockpit, comfortable air suspension seats, and well-organized control panel prompted him to nod approvingly. Starting the vehicle, he drove several laps in the open area to test acceleration, braking, and steering. Although the power response did not match that of his usual Audi, for a behemoth weighing over 10 tons, it was remarkably swift. The brakes were linear and powerful, and the steering was far more agile than anticipated. Very impressive, he concluded. Though the driving experience has its flaws, this is fundamentally a functional vehicle. Considering its price of $500,000 to $600,000, coupled with formidable towing and recovery capabilities, its performance is commendable. After testing the Yutong, Zhang Jianya exited the driver's seat. Wearing a satisfied expression, he then approached Yi Bai's oddly shaped universal ant. Upon entering, he was taken aback by the surprisingly spacious interior. While the seat material was unidentifiable, its enveloping and supportive qualities provided a comfort akin to that of a top-tier racing seat. Tentatively, he started the vehicle. Instead of the anticipated roar of an engine, only a faint hum of electricity was heard. Gently pressing the accelerator, he was immediately thrust back into his seat by a powerful and smooth surge. Vroom! The black universal ant shot forward like an arrow released from a bow. Zhang Jianya was startled by the sudden acceleration and instinctively jerked the steering wheel. To his astonishment, the seemingly low-profile platform truck executed an exaggerated sharp turn at high speed. All four wheels appeared magnetically adhered to the ground, and the vehicle tilted not in the slightest, gliding as if on a track. Then, he slammed the brakes, and the vehicle came to a halt almost instantaneously, with a braking distance that was astonishingly short. As Zhang Jianya cautiously returned the vehicle, beads of sweat had already formed on his forehead. The performance of this vehicle is exceptionally good. Hearing this evaluation, the expressions of Zhang Defa and Jiang Chuqiang shifted slightly. Yet, Zhang Jianya quickly pivoted his stance, shaking his head. While the performance is commendable, it still commands a price of 15 million. Performance alone does not justify that cost. Everyone nodded in agreement with his sentiment. Well then, the first round of competition showcases strengths in different areas. Zhang Jianya steadied himself. Now, we shall proceed to the second and most critical test of towing capacity. The test would once again commence with Yutong. Staff members brought forth a standard private vehicle for the assessment. The Explorer V effortlessly lowered its tow hook and secured the private car with ease, pulling it along without any strain. This is merely an appetizer, Zhang Defa confidently remarked. He waved his hand, signaling for another identical heavy-duty Explorer V to be brought forth. This time, the test vehicle would tow a car weighing over 10 tons. The tires of the Explorer V slipped slightly on the ground but quickly regained traction, successfully pulling the other vehicle along steadily. Well done! Li Min could not help but exclaim. Zhang Defa's smile widened even further as he gestured to the driver. Push the limits. The driver pressed the accelerator with vigor and astonishingly added another private vehicle to the tow. To pull a heavy-duty truck while additionally attaching a smaller car was truly remarkable. The cost-performance ratio is simply astounding. Zhang Jianya exclaimed in admiration. For a vehicle priced at $500,000 to $600,000, such performance is indeed worth every penny. All eyes turned once more to Yi Bai's universal ant. Let us attach two Explorer versus directly, Yi Bai stated calmly. At this declaration, everyone was momentarily taken aback. Staff members, uncertain, connected two Explorer versus, each weighing over 10 tons, with a coupling rod. Yi Bai entered the driver's seat and activated the superconducting electromagnetic winch array. Instead of the roar of an engine, only a high-frequency hum of electricity resonated. The four wheels of the universal ant firmly gripped the ground. Then, amidst the astonished gazes of all present, it effortlessly began to pull those two colossal vehicles forward. Zhang Defa's smile froze on his face. While it could indeed pull them, it still could not justify the 15 million price tag. Zhang Jianya held steadfast to his opinion. Just then, Yi Bai's voice came through the vehicle's speaker system. This testing method is too slow. If we are to play, let us do so on a grand scale. Mr. Zhang, bring out your largest 100-ton King heavy truck. Then, carefully load those two police trailers onto the flatbed of the King. As soon as these words were uttered, the entire venue was thrown into astonishment. Chapter 230, Furious Tow of 30 Vehicles, a Land Cruiser? Madness. This young man is undoubtedly insane. Zhang Defa pointed at Yi Bai's universal ant, his voice trembling with disbelief. Zhao Wenqi and Jiang Chuqiang shared the same incredulous expression. Wow, is the host serious? 100-ton King plus two trailers? That S got away around 150 tons. It's coming. The familiar thrill. Every time the host pulls something new, it feels like he is pushing Newton S limits. Calm down. This is just the host's standard performance. Let us wait for the facepalm moment. In light of the crowd's skepticism, Yi Bai refrained from elaborating. After a brief moment of shock, Zhang Defa was invigorated. He was determined to see it through. Immediately, he took charge of the logistics, and before long, a colossal 100-ton King heavy truck emerged, resembling a land beast. Subsequently, the two Pioneer V trailers were cautiously loaded onto the immense flatbed of the King and secured tightly. As this steel behemoth came to a halt, an overwhelming sense of pressure enveloped everyone present. The Universal Ant slowly approached the front of the 100-ton King. Under the intense gaze of the onlookers, several shimmering nanocables shot forth, precisely adhering to the robust chassis of the King. Inside the cabin, Yi Bai gradually increased the power output of the superconducting electromagnetic winch array. A resonant hum, sharper and more intense than before, emanated from the body of the Universal Ant. The air surrounding the vehicle seemed to distort slightly